Howdy, folks. Welcome to Mosaic Team 5, our original Starfinder campaign. I am Joe Treff, your DM this evening, and joining me are my friends Matt, Dan, Kara, Olive, and Ari. A couple of announcements before we get playing Starfinder. There's a couple ways that you can support this channel. There are bits and channel points. Bits are a currency that is produced through Twitch. You okay over there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm just tethered.
Bits are a currency that is managed by Twitch. They can directly support the stream. They can do a whole bunch of cool things, and actually they can affect the story as we go. Located in the description, there's a couple different rewards that are listed. Although important to note, none of the Mosaic Corporation rewards are currently available.
Because we fucked up.
Because you guys are in trouble.
Fucked up.
There's also channel points. Those you accumulate for free just by watching, and you can use those to do a number of different things, like highlight your messages, but you can also influence the story of the Junk Falls will always be Junk storyline. This is the very last week. Tomorrow is actually the day that this closes. And so if you have channel points that you have been saving, you should use them.
Spam that shit.
Spend your money on me, please.
We have a website, alberonrpg.com, and we have social media at alberonrpg. We have tons of maps and stuff, and so you can pull our close-up camera. Right now, it's just a battle of cheese, but for other battles, yeah.
My money's on crackers.
Yeah, for miniatures and close pictures of all the different things that we use, you can go to Instagram at alberonrpg. Tomorrow night, we will be playing Courts of Everest, Session 5, which is our second multi-year spanning D&D campaign that takes place 10 years after the final events of our previous one. The group just had an unexpectedly challenging encounter.
It didn't happen.
I don't want to talk
It was a
about
dream.
It was almost a TPK at level 3.
It's a nightmare.
That you can go and see on YouTube. However, we are going to be playing Session 5 tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then finally, for music and sound effects, things of that nature, like this smooth jazz that was just playing and inconveniently is now ending. Inconveniently, that's the word.
We'll just make it up as we go, like do 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 do.
Quick play loader. For that kind of sound effect, not the Ari one, but the actual jazz, Sirenscape is a digital tool set that you could use for things like that. You can have things like drums. You can have things like explosions. See, I didn't say it, and then you couldn't cut it off. All those things, sirens. Sorry, that was a very special sound effect.
That you can't find on
Sirenscape
Sirenscape.
is a digital tool set that does not have those sound effects. However, it does have the ability to upload your own music and sound effects, so you could put it up there if you really want to, and you can upload your own things like this theme song from Wes over at Arcane Anthems. Tomorrow night, we will be debuting our theme song for Courts of Everest.
Oh, nice.
It's in the Discord.
Yeah, I've heard it. I just
Oh, yeah.
No, today I posted the new one with all the instruments.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
it's
good.
very nice.
Pretty
take a
good.
look at it.
Mosaic Team 5, last we played. You reunited at the Eats Meats distributor. Echo, you tried to interact with the other Echo units. Although, upon them discovering that you did not break away from the Echo Corporation, but instead came from after, whatever that means, they quickly isolated you. After some inner strife, Shade's patient approach was overruled by the group voting to side with the Ruby Eyes Yosoki. And with that decided, very simply, you all set off to the Ruby Eyes Warren. You met Rita, who led you down to the pit, a huge warren of caverns and tunnels that the Yosoki clan, with albinism, had built to escape the oppressive rule of the GPF above. This is a place that is teeming with art and life, although right now, past the series of living spaces, dining areas, and even a closed door, you came to a dig site where Yosoki labored with handheld tools, spoons, and anything that they might aid them towards freeing their kin. A parallel tunnel is where you split off and headed southeast under Perdido to emerge outside Quarry Hall Storage Shed 10. With all of the debate that went into choosing this path, you took zero time in orchestrating a cohesive plan. Bubs, dressed as a platinum blonde mulleted worker for Perdido Mining Company, strode into the warehouse to improv his way past the 6 GPF soldiers and 2 actual workers. Surprisingly, The plan survived its first point of contact, with Bubs using knowledge gleaned from Spice's Lashunta sense thoughts to aid in convincing the worker in charge of the heavy dual-level mobile storage system that you were a new hire, and that the worker was long overdue for a break. Now in charge, you recklessly operated the machinery, causing the guards to become suspicious. They told you to take your hands away from the controls, and when you didn't comply, opened fire. The rest of you sprang into action. Gibbs, you incited fear in 2 of the GPF who took positions atop the storage unit, 40 feet off the ground, causing one to plummet off, and the other to unload their rifle multiple times at you. Gibbs, you also added another head to the list of those that you've exploded, after briefly having considered it not just an hour before. Echo, you used the abundance of cover and technology attached to the GPF warrior's heavy armor to misdirect an attack from corners, nooks, and advantageous terrain, which ended in a point-blank gun battle around the corner of the moving storage rack. Shade, you engaged in a run and gun battle to give Gibbs and Spice cover to get to the drill, and Spice, you empowered the party to move quickly, giving Bubs the critical extra step he needed to demolish the Shiren officer of this group, before you all took the sonic drill and tunneled down, allowing the tunnel to collapse in behind you, and that is where we begin this evening. Oh, don't worry, I got Sirenscape for that.
Oh yeah. But it's a sonic drill, so it's more like.
Oh yeah, it's the scream. It's like a muffler sound.
Gotta go. So very specifically, this is a sonic impulse drill, and you would learn that pretty quickly. Now, from what I can recall, give me one moment here.
Spice is a sonic impulse drill.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Kind of.
For all of you, from what I remember and from what I have currently, although you guys moved all of it, I had set up who was in the van, who was right behind it,
it's right in front.
and then Echo, not actually going with all of you, is currently running out of the storage shed.
I was in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A seatbelt that's not a seatbelt.
So trade Gibbs and Bubs, and I think we're good.
Okay, so right now it is Bubs and Spice in the passenger and driver seats. Gibbs, you are behind with Shade as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Can I see? So the plan is to meet up with the tunnel, which we know where it is relative to the position we started at.
So before doing any of that, and before just throwing the microphone around, Kara,
Did not touch that.
that was very rude.
Drop mic.
It was the Sonic thing. Sonic.
The earth shifts around all of you as you are either riding within or pushing directly behind this sonic drill that vibrates your teeth and bones with its intensity from here. Spice, you're driving?
Yes.
Driving this drill, go ahead and make a piloting check.
Oh.
And as you do,
Yes.
Bubs,
Yes.
your eyes race frantically around the interior looking, and you see a very brightly marked sign that reads GOSHA, which you would know stands for the Galactic Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and it's a GOSHA warning. This is a sonic drill that operates on extremely high frequencies. Personnel within 25 feet of this machine must wear Class 2 or above sonic suppressors or risk hearing, sight, and smell loss. As you read this, can the 4 of you who are not Echo make Constitution saving throws? Spice, what was your piloting?
Dirty 20.
Dirty
A
20.
fortitude saving throw.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Spice doing a fortitude saving throw?
Not yet.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you are.
Is this a
Fortitude save?
Yeah, sorry. There's another
Okay,
save
yeah.
coming in just a second.
16.
16?
Is this one that would benefit from my toughness feat?
15.
I need the benefit.
Yeah, I would say yes.
15.
15?
8
8.
with
okay.
benefit.
19.
19. So, Spice, contained within the cabin, you and Bubs are subjected to this high intensity frequency, but the cabin is somewhat shielded, and so you feel a little bit less of the effect. But Shade, for you, and Gibbs, for you, the vibrations are violent. First of all, the front is what is shaking the rocks apart, and you can hear this whoosh that is rhythmically pulsing. That is the sound of these front parts shoving the earth to the side to create a compact space. However, there is nothing bracing the stone above, and so rocks are falling in behind, closing and sealing the tunnel behind you. Gibbs, for you, all of a sudden, there is this loud whine that gets louder and louder and louder, and all you can hear
Pull my ears.
is this loud whine. And even as you pull on them, it doesn't change the sound. You are deaf. Now, as you continue to push, what were you saying before, Gibbs?
Can I look with my eyes and try and find the parallel tunnel?
Make a perception check. You're taking a -6 conditional modifier, as it is pitch black. You are underground. You get a little bit of light from the various lights inside this drill.
13 plus 10 is 23. Minus 6 is 19.
19. Okay. You're looking around this area. You're digging straight through.
Wait, hold on. That's too high.
17.
17. Sorry.
You're looking through this area and you're digging through the ground, no longer straight. But as you do so, the earth is splitting apart. The rocks are falling down. You don't see any parallel tunnels because you are going straight through the earth, or Akaton. At this moment, the rocks continue to fall around. Shade, are you doing anything? Because at the moment, and I would say you notice this too, the rocks are falling in such a way that you are going to be at risk until you connect with this tunnel of being crushed unless you change your circumstance.
I imagine I would know that our comms would be ineffective right now because of the high frequency. Is that correct?
That's a good guess.
Can I try? I would like to try to calm to Bubs and Spice, while also trying to be wary of the fact that we're supposed to be going west 40 feet, or west 4 minutes, roughly.
All of a sudden, your comms do begin to go off. Not enough to disrupt the frequency of these communicators that you guys have that have a little bit stronger of a
Put
sense.
that part about the going west in the message as well.
I'm actively trying to contact you.
Oh, okay. I thought this
I'm not
was
like,
Are you picking up?
Yeah, okay. No, I'm gonna pick up.
Okay.
Hello.
you need to stop.
Okay. And he's gonna like look over at Spice, who's like,
Spice didn't answer and is not stopping.
yeah. And he's gonna like try to like, cause he knows he doesn't want to distract the driver, like kind of like wave his hand.
If it takes too long, I'm gonna override it.
So Gibbs and Shade, go ahead and make reflex saving throws now.
Yeah. I
As the
wanna
rocks
override
begin
it.
to fall. We'll get to that in a second.
Reflex saves.
Yes.
Does Spice like see Bubs like frantically waving?
Yeah,
You're right
You
next
guys
to
are
me.
literally right next to each
Well, I
other.
imagine you're like kind of like
18?
7. I mean,
7.
yeah, but you didn't say anything.
The two of you, or sorry, Gibbs, you take 12 points of bludgeoning damage. Shade, you take 6.
having
As
seen
the rocks fall down, they begin to crush you, and Gibbs, all of a sudden, there is almost like a snap. It doesn't quite break your leg, but a boulder almost pins it down to the ground. And the only thing that manages to keep you from being crushed right then and there, you feel the rock in your bottle just strong enough to hold the rock up and not shatter. But you can almost swear you hear the cracks, and you yank it away, continue to move behind the drill.
Can I scramble
Bubs is gonna
into
try
the?
to do like a kill it motion with his hand
Okay.
to Spice. Now
Sure.
they can see that she's actually paying
I'm
attention.
wireless.
Spice, are you
hacking.
doing anything? Make a
Yeah.
computer check.
She starts doing the robot.
Oh my god. Yes.
So as this drill,
And she like starts playing heavy metal music.
suddenly
Like,
the radio goes on, and Gibbs, right as you yank free from this like rock crushing you, you hear like a guitar riff start, and all of a sudden it's like this energetic music starts
I don't
playing
hear
behind
shit.
you.
Can I see where
You
the
can.
shut
You're
off button
deaf.
is, Joe?
Say what?
Would Bubs be able to see where the shut off or the keys are to turn it
Go
off?
ahead and make a perception check. What was your computer's check?
18.
It's an 18.
Can I contest it?
Hang on, let's
I don't-
make change
You can
wireless.
test the perception.
Wirelessly overloading
A
this
27.
thing to get it to shut off.
With an 18, you spread your mind out, having to like also factor in the fact that there are stones coming down and beginning to fall, and you see Gibbs almost get crushed at one point, but focusing. This is just a consumer kind of drill. It's not military in any way, and so easy enough you can connect to this and you can override. What part of this are you overriding?
I'm shutting down the
Sonic part.
the drill.
No problem.
element.
So with that roll,
I'm trying to get it to
Yeah.
stop. If there's a
Why?
power off option.
Why would you stop it though? What is
Because
your
you're
goal?
killing
Yeah.
us.
Are you not paying attention?
Well, I am, but it's also like if it's only 4 minutes, we're gonna hit the main.
Every
We're gonna
7
get crushed
seconds,
within 4
every 7
minutes.
seconds, I'm getting
I got a
Spice.
27.
Okay. So you see all of a sudden this red button
Yeah.
that is right near the thing that like Spice is leaning on right now to push this drill forward. And so you slam down
Yeah,
on
I
this
slam
button
it.
and suddenly the sonic impact just stops. And Spice, the whole drill slams into the earth and you
She
hear
probably
this
like hits her head on the like steering wheel.
as rocks fall. Shade and Gibbs, if you can make reflex saves again, please.
This is why Bubs wore his non-existent seatbelt.
30.
Shit!
Oh god.
I'm getting worse and worse.
I
5.
tried to gravity gun whatever's about to land on Gibbs out of the way.
So Gibbs, you're about to take 16 points of bludgeoning damage. However, Shade, go ahead and make a, we'll call this another reflex save. It's taking some negatives. Maybe,
Ooh, probably gonna miss 'cause that's a 13.
as the rocks fall down and deal 16 points of bludgeoning damage to Gibbs, you try to pull the gun out and fire, but your arm is almost trapped by earth.
By another rock.
You pull it away, but at this point, Gibbs is already almost crushed by this stone. But in this moment, the rocks begin to kind of settle and stop falling. And you have a small space. You and Gibbs press together here, but it
Thank
seems like
you!
you're not there.
For trying.
And all you can hear is just rock and roll music that is just playing from the cabin.
Bubba, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm calming to Bubbles again. Just Bubs, because he's the only one who answered.
Bubs is gonna pick up.
Yeah, there's no point in calling anybody
And
else.
as Bubs is picking up, I imagine he's like trying to fight with Spice, like trying to like.
She's
take-
trying to push the button
take like
again.
like turn off her comms or like take off her helmet or like something to like take the music off.
Can I?
I'm just trying to get back to the top.
Can I spin my bottle around and quick like skitter my fingers over it to check for cracks, and then also use it to heal myself?
Yeah,
I'm trying to like
absolutely.
pull Gibbs out from under the rocks.
pull
I'm
Gibbs
trying,
out.
Shade. She's just fighting
Just
me.
open the hatch.
And I'm gonna look around. Do I see with that perception check also an open hatch button?
You see an open hatch button. However, again, you're in a drill that is now stopped in a cavern
Yeah,
that it
it
is
might-
making.
The hatch is in the top, right?
The hatch is in the top, but again,
That
in a
might
cavern
fill
that
in,
it is
yeah, that
making.
might not be a good
And so
idea.
as the rocks fall down, there is a very
There's not-
narrow space that looking at Gibbs, were Gibbs to remove their bottle, maybe Gibbs could squeeze in, but Gibbs is running the risk of being crushed to death immediately if the rocks shift. But you could try.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna continue trying to stop the
Yeah.
music, and I imagine I probably figure like, oh yeah, it's on her like comm wrist, and I'm gonna just like try to go on her comm wrist and like try to just press the pause button.
Okay. Are you letting Bubs press the pause button?
No, but I think what would happen is while she's like, arm wrestling Bubbles, she
Yeah.
like looks behind her and she Gibbs is like squished and like probably recognizes that they can't hear anything, so she's gonna reach out with her mind and go, "Babe, what the hell happened to you?"
And it's like extra loud because you hear nothing else.
Gibbs is just like crying. She's
Oh my
very
God.
hurt.
At this point, I think I probably find the pause
And
button.
very stressed. And she is not an underground rat. She's never been an underground rat. And so this is like tough.
Trying to figure out ways
Jesus!
to get safely out of this terrible situation.
Please let us into the cabin. It really
Because
hurts.
I thought that there was a back hatch, but there's not.
There isn't a back
going
hatch.
to-
However, go ahead and make a perception check.
As the music has been paused, I'm gonna like turn to Spice. Babe,
It's cocked.
we gotta like stop
It was
the
a
drill
20.
for a second. Something's going on.
cocked.
Gibbs is hurt, and we just gotta just cool it for a second.
going
Hold
low.
on, we
It's
gotta
gonna be a
reassess
long-
everything.
Natural 20!
Ah.
Third time's the charm.
There
Also, we
is-
got a wheel earlier,
Okay, good to know.
just so you know. Yeah.
So we'll hold on to that wheel because you rolled a natural 20.
Yeah.
With a natural 20, you look around, and as you see Gibbs, who is like pressed up against the drill, you see like Gibbs's face against the window and Spice on the other side. There is no entry hatch back here, but this is an industrial machine, and so it needs to have parts easily replaceable. So you look around for a hatch, and popping the nearest one open, there is some machinery in the way, but you can remove it pretty quickly, within minutes, really, and especially with the knowledge that you have, and just kind of pop out this entire mechanical component. And I would say Bubs and Spice, suddenly the lights go out. You have disconnected the power to this vehicle. However, it does allow you to get out.
Damn it, Shade!
The second it's open, I'm gonna skitter in.
Okay.
Um,
With Gibbs inside and the bottle, it is quite full.
I'm now the
all of us-
cork. That really hurt! And I'm yelling because I'm deaf and no voice regulation.
Jesus!
Is there even room for me?
No, so you're looking at Gibbs's butt and like a little bit of the bottle.
I back out a little.
And Gibbs's back.
And before you, I will find a way.
Everyone who does breathe, just hold it in for a second.
What?
Because these two don't breathe.
Echo's not there.
Echo's not there.
Oh, well, still, he means everyone.
Okay. I look behind us. It's completely crumbled?
Looking behind, it is just sealed with stone and sand. And every now and then there is like the tick and then little bits of sand and stone falling down. It's not stable by any means, and you probably don't want to stay here. Shade, for you can't even stand up straight in this space. And it's only getting smaller.
Only 3 of us will fit. I'm yelling.
Spice is going to see that Gibbs is in great distress, and she's going, "Oh, honey, come here," gives you a hug, and inspiring boosts you.
I'm gonna
for
start
14 damage
sealing
points.
the thing back up so that they can get going.
Wait, but
And I'm just gonna have to fucking use my gravity gun to try to keep myself from getting crushed.
Phenomenal.
I will keep my face out the window so I can look at Shade, and if he starts to bleed, I will. How hurt are you?
I'm okay right now.
Okay. But I will keep an eye on Shade, and as he, I will lifelink and
Is
heal
there
him if
anywhere that
necessary.
I can like grab onto the back of this thing and just like kind of, be ready to pew the gravity gun?
So you want to get really close to it to kind of make her profile smaller,
Well,
and then use the weapon to as much
To
as
basically
possible.
make like
a canopy.
an awning. Yeah.
Sure.
But also, I'm thinking like, like how you stand on the back of a fire truck. If there's something like where I can like grab a bar or something.
Not really. For some reason, they never really anticipated people
Someone having to do this.
skitching
Yeah.
on a sonic drill. However, what you could do, what you said will work, and that will give you a conditional modifier to all of your reflex saves.
Is the hatch completely closed to Shade at this point, or is
The hatch has always been closed to Shade.
I put the machine part back
He basically
in.
pulled
I
the
took out the
engine out.
No, I see
carburetor
what you're
and
saying.
threw it
Yeah.
back in.
He came in through the engine.
Okay, I got it.
So no problem. You plug things back in, and reconnecting it, there is this brief ding, 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 and then the power resumes, and you have this drill back at your disposal.
Are we going west?
You are pointed in the right direction.
Okay.
It's part of Spice's 20 for a piloting check, or 22, I think it was.
Nice.
Able
Was
to
orienting.
ascertain. Yeah, and so there is like a pretty sophisticated, for a drill, you need to be able to track not just an X and Y coordinate, but a Z one as well. And so pretty sophisticated is the tracking mechanism within this. Excuse me.
Can I like turn down my volume sensitivity for the sonic effect that is about to take place?
The intensity of this drill, and Gosha
bodily.
doesn't. Gosha's not joking around. The intensity
It's
of
like
this
a
drill
bodily
is such.
thing.
Yes, this is like your organs taking damage, the lining of the cells themselves becoming somewhat disrupted. Homeostasis is being markedly interrupted in your process.
I'm probably gonna die.
Like this is, if you were standing in front of this, you would shatter.
We're pretty close.
So looking at my
4
4 miles is a lot.
4 minutes.
4 minutes, you're close.
Pretty close.
Can I, with all the things in my possession and my medical knowledge, is there anything I can do to help Shade weather this a little
So
better?
this is how this is going to progress. If this is how we're choosing to do this,
It
is 4 minutes. and so there are 4 chances for Shade to get crushed to death by stones. At each of these junctures, if there is a skill that you want to use
Okay.
in order to better Shade's chances, you absolutely can. However, brief pause. Echo. As your group disappears down into this bit of stone, and you can see like the hole that's left behind cave in behind, and soon there is no orange, just the crumbling bits of like shredded metal and concrete. What are you doing?
One. 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be enough. Whoop.
And then Echo, you just take off. There is like this brush of wind, and if the camera was still here, you'd see that one guy that was hiding in the lower storage shelf, kind of peeking out and just going, "What the fuck?" And there are just corpses everywhere. This is a guy who just came to work on his overnight shift, and just like all this security presence just got murdered in front of him. But Echo, you disappear. You make your way out from the quarry hull storage and out into the night. It is close to midnight, and the sandstorm still rages outside, and so quite dark. The ability for others to see you, probably not great. You can see on the road outside there are lights, as there is like a vehicle or a speeder or something of that nature coming. But what are you doing?
Echo tries to do the calculation to figure out how far 4 minutes west is for somebody in a drill, and Echo doesn't really know what speed they're going at, and Echo's not like a math robot, so Echo's not gonna
Make a physical sciences
fuck
check.
what.
Minus
the
Let me finish my sentence.
anticipated coordinates of where we're gonna end up based on
Make
the
an engineering
trajectory.
check. And part of this is really your ability to tune these signals out,
Yeah.
because it's easy enough for communications like 5
Lots of
feet or so,
distractions, yeah.
but this is tough.
16 for physical science.
Landed in the circle of bad.
It's just because
How
there's
are these?
unknowns. Echo can do math.
It's still.
You don't know how fast this drill goes. You imagine probably not as fast as they would walk, and so not as far as they would be able to get on foot. So thinking about this and where this probably will connect, a little bit to the west and then slightly up north, it's probably somewhere along the road that leads back to the northernmost district where the actual Ruby Eyes clan is.
Okay, so like in the Ruby Eyes clan compound,
No, not quite that far. It's
But,
it's
like,
really
what?
not coming far.
but like in that vicinity, not towards the northwest.
Correct.
Okay. Echo's gonna head kind of in the direction of
Dirty 20.
the Ruby Eyes compound.
Spice, go 2 minutes and then stop, and Shane and I can trade.
Shade, your communication does not go through. However,
That's too far.
it isn't that it's too far, it's that the oscillations are a little bit too aggressive. However, with that wheel,
Oh,
there is
yes.
this element of, and I feel like this is a generous wheel because it should have been 25, but the elements of engine that you had reconnected, as it kind of hits a harder deposit of maybe like a metal ore, it seems to sputter in the electricity, and the brief boom stops for just a second. And in that moment, you send out this communication, and suddenly, Echo, you're like sitting there, like not sitting there, you're running
pin
really
for
fast,
you.
but also still doing like math.
Echo's like probably gotten like has started just doing laps. Like wait, because Echo, we've calculated it. Echo can run a 23-second mile.
Yeah, like,
Oh, Jesus.
probably like went there and back. Then.
Echo
Putting your ear to
probably
the ground, like,
stopped by Eats Meats and was just like, no.
Not here.
You guys are gonna come back. Echo has a degree now, but no problem. So you run, you consider this, and then suddenly,
pin on
ding,
it.
you get this little coordinate, and you can see it's very close and underground.
Echo just like kind of heads to the that overland section, and once they realize that like the compound's nearby, they're gonna just like head over to the
Okay,
compound door.
no problem. You make your way there. Heading back to the rest of you. Shade. Go ahead, and as the drill begins in earnest, make a reflex saving throw. You pull this gravity gun, you get real close to this vehicle.
23.
23.
Can I help a little? I'd like to reach out to my mysticism.
How do you want to help with mysticism?
I see that that's my friend, and he's hurting. And this seems like a very preventable
right
situation. And I feel helpless. And so this is like me gathering up all of the threads of every scrap of power I possibly could have, and I want to just sort of keep that life link in my hand as we continue on.
Okay. Take a +2 conditional modifier, so that's 25.
25.
With the 25.
I got my gravity gun out,
Sure.
so if anything is getting close to me, I can pew it away.
Shade, you would be taking 15 points of bludgeoning damage. However, with your gravity gun out and with your physical form tucked close to this, you're able to divert this huge chunk of the ceiling that suddenly just disconnects and slides down. At once, it's like slow motion and very fast, and you're able to move out of the way. It hits you hard, but it doesn't crush you.
That's good.
You continue. You feel the drill move, and Spice, as you push it forwards, you're able to make very, very good time. There is a point, however, Spice, where all of a sudden you notice the ground beginning to shift and become a little bit different. The rock transitioning from the typical red to a grittier, more
Hitting the sand.
dark kind of material. Is there anything that you're doing as this changes? You can feel the vibrations seeming to do a little bit less than they were before.
Do I notice this as well?
Yeah,
Do I also notice?
you do
this?
not, because
Okay.
you are
Because I'm behind
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Can I do a what's the equivalent of history check?
a
Culture
history
check?
check. For what?
To see if I remember anything about the landscape of Akaton and if I would recognize this pit of stone.
Yeah, this would just be a flat intelligence check if you're going to remember from your time here.
Okay.
Listen to have stone cunning.
Yes.
They're just dwarves.
My +0 is gonna.
Oh
Shit. That was a 2 plus 0
That
is a
hit
2.
real heavy too. Like, it was just like,
She's like, oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
just weird colored sand.
Yeah.
You slam on you like lean into this thing, and you can hear this begin as the thing impacting to the side. This suddenly seems to not be pressing against something.
I'm gonna comms to the rest of the group. Hey guys, the dirt that we're drilling into seems different. It's like almost like you said it was like reddish.
Kind of darker, like black.
It's more like a darkish. Red.
Is it lava?
It's like different. I don't know what's
know,
going.
lava would be
Maybe,
red.
do you think we should stop?
Shade, for the second to last save, go ahead and make a reflex saving throw. This is just going to be normal without any kind of modifier.
Even though I continue to pray.
As all of a sudden, in this moment, you almost sense that like Spice lets off for a second, and she's like, "Wait, what is this?" And then slams back into this, and suddenly the rocks that have been falling give way, and for just a moment, there's this like suspense before suddenly sand begins to fill in the space.
it's a 19.
It's a 19.
At this point,
Okay.
can I like grab Spice's hand and like try to be like, "Come on"?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
You take 10 points of bludgeoning damage as the sand begins to flush in around you, and your speed, though it is not terribly important at this moment, becomes halved. You'd imagine, should you fail again, it will become much more important.
And I'm gonna do
These aren't
this motion, the kill it motion again to Spice. See if she pays attention.
these
when
aren't
I grab her
effects
hand.
knocking me prone, right?
No. I will say that, Bubs, you understand that should you stop this, feeling the sand past the metal
might,
hull,
yeah.
it might actually just bury Shade, and so you probably do want to continue.
Okay.
But up to you.
No, I think he's going to.
Would I recognize the sand coming in now and
Yes,
want
and
them
interestingly,
to continue?
it is very noticeable to you because it is magnetic. As it it just begins to cling to your body, and almost worse, it gets into the joints of your body. It becomes harder to move. And Gibbs, where you are, you can see through this narrow window Shade's face getting pressed further and further away as the sand begins to fill in the space around his torso. Are you doing anything?
Are you hurt? You're not hurt in any
I
meaningful
mean,
way.
I'm hurt, but I'm
You're
there's
not.
bumps and bruises
Okay.
at the moment.
Can I slither? Is there like a crack I can slither my tail out so he could grab onto it to help, like, be the handle, the handle to the teapot that is this.
There is no crack.
Can I punch the window and make a crack?
Make an unarmed strike. Yeah, absolutely.
Do
Can I
see
do
her
it with
that?
my head?
Yeah.
Do
Make
I
an unarmed
see
strike.
her
You can plus
trying
2
to
conditional
like do
modifier.
that? Can I contest that?
Yes.
Okay.
Make an unarmed strike as well, Bubs.
I feel like the glass is probably strong enough to
Okay.
withstand a punch.
It's against both.
Oh, wait, plus a
it's like
2?
plus
Yeah.
10.
Oh, 11. No, wait, 12.
I was like, how did that work?
What
12.
am I? When am I rolling?
This is an unarmed strike.
Oh. Okay, then that's like.
Wait, you're
plus
contesting me?
Yeah, that's like 2 plus like 11, so 13.
It's actually kind of close.
Yeah.
Gibbs, in this almost like primal moment, you see the hands like on the glass, and then, and as like she brings her head back, you have to muscle your whole body in, and Gibbs headbutts you hard on the side, and it kind of like causes you to spasm a little bit. But Gibbs, you don't crack this window. However,
Crack the window! Crack the window!
No.
Shade, go ahead and make a final reflex saving throw.
You're gonna
perhaps.
fill everything with sand.
24.
Nice.
24. Okay.
hope-
Is there anything that anybody else is doing to help?
I'm shooting my gun.
Dear God.
I'm taking that into account.
Is going to call out through the metal and go, "You got this, babe!" and inspiring boost you for 14 stamina
Probably
points.
can't
Okay.
hear. Do I need to
Anything
be able
else?
to hear it?
With my mind.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Because there's the sonic part.
Dear Bottle Ooze, please don't let my friend die in front of me.
Yeah, she's like praying to Besmara, please let this space pirate live.
This is awful.
Suddenly, for all of you within this cockpit, you emerge into a large tunnel. And you're able to suddenly like kill this sonic drive, and the treads just pull it along a little bit further, and you are like, you emerge. You can see down the way, only about 60 feet away, although now 20 feet further than you left them, this group of Yosoki digging furiously at the cavern. Turning back though, Gibbs, all that you can see sticking out through the stone and the sand that is like coming to a stop, filling elements of this hallway, is the arm of Shade. And Shade, you are suffocating.
I don't breathe.
That's great.
Hey!
Did I already say you took 16 points of bludgeoning damage?
No, but
Okay.
now
16
you did.
points of bludgeoning damage.
Scramble out of the thing. Scramble to Shade, and I want to give him CPR through the sand.
Like
So-
drag him through the thing into the
At this
tunnel.
point,
Still
it
just-
seems safe for Bubs to
Still
probably
just
open the hatch.
significant
so he's
bumps
gonna
and
do so.
bruises.
Okay. So, Gibbs, go ahead and make an athletics check. First, Gibbs, you through the sand, and your very mouse-like nose. What was that?
I go to 4.
Damn, you
Your very
got
rat-like nose,
shit.
as you try to like jam it through the sand, looking for Shade. It's just burying yourself more than anything. Is anybody doing anything else to rescue Shade?
Can I wiggle my way out since, like, I
Yeah,
don't
make an
need
athletics
to
check.
breathe, right? So I'm not, like, when you say I'm suffocating, am I just like...
You're being crushed.
Okay.
I'm
You
gonna,
take an additional 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna
Okay,
call
now
out
it's
to the
getting
miners
bad.
and go, "We got a man down. Come help us."
So
Things
You can see, so you like, you crack the door open and yell this out.
15.
15? Okay.
Bubs hearing that Shade is, because he didn't know.
I try to
he's
do the,
being-
like, quicksand, like, wiggle to make some space
You watch
and,
as
like...
all of a sudden, very
push myself
uncharacteristically of Shade, you just see through like this window. I just tried to shift out, but every single movement becomes more and more labored as the
Spice
sand
takes out
continues to
just like
settle.
a camera.
The window on the inside of this just begins to crack a little bit as the pressure from the sand is almost beginning to now push this vehicle out into the hall.
is this because the vehicle is corking the sand that we like Minecraft?
It's
like,
not
lose?
corking it. The sand is settling now, and so it's just kind of pushing it to its
So
final
can't we?
spot.
So what if we just move the vehicle?
Shade, make an
and
athletics
Spice can, I mean, Shade can just spill out onto the floor.
I mean,
You
you
could.
were driving.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what.
14.
14.
After taking a
check.
picture of Shade, Spice is gonna hit the gas a little bit more and go whoop and slide into the tunnel until it set.
You take
good
16 points of bludgeoning damage,
Yep.
and as this kind of
Alright,
continues
now
to
I'm
crush
looking
you
pretty
down more
bad.
and more, Spice, you activate the drill one more time. The sound continues. All of the Yosoki that were running forward, now you hear, yay! And they just dive out of the way because you see the wall in front of you begin to shake and crumble. However, you pull forward and Shade the sand out, and suddenly you are no longer being crushed. Your legs are a little bit, but you can kind of shift them out.
I scramble up to Shade once he's released and crush him with a hug.
Okay.
And I lifelink with you, healing you
Get off.
up to 6 points of hit point damage. But you have to tell me if it's not. You don't need 6.
No, I could use 6.
All right. Then you heal 6. I take 6 damage.
And in this moment, you all now emerge into this cavernous space, And I'm going to turn off the rock crumbling music.
I push you away and immediately light a cigarette.
You pull out the
Babe,
cigarette.
you look good in these photos.
Pop them open, and it's just like full of sand, but you dump the sand out and pull like one of the only unruined cigarettes out. No problem.
Bubs is probably gonna go over to Shade. And he probably has like one of those like really tiny like dust busters, like a little mini one for like computer cleaning, and he's just gonna start like vacuuming Shade.
Stop.
But as he's fighting, he's
Push
just gonna
you
start biting, like vacuuming his hand.
Nope.
The Yosoki crowd around all of you, and suddenly you see Rita emerge. And I would say, Echo, it's at about this point that you make your way to the compound. I'd say Rita would have let you in, and so if you want, you can be there with Rita.
Yeah.
So you see your party just
Been waiting for
explode
like 6
in.
minutes.
You watch for, you've been here for a little bit. You like sat down, but
Snow cones.
Echo has like a little like canteen of water, and they're just like,
yeah, halfway done with the cross stitch. But yeah, Echo's been here for a bit. Rita comes over and just goes, "Heavens, you know how to make an entrance."
We got your drill. Am I supposed
Thank
to
you.
have?
You're still. It's like it's this high pitched ring, and so you hear.
nice.
As I'm smoking this cigarette, I'm hoping to use this to take a 10-minute short rest and use a resolve point to regain my stamina.
So Rita says, "Come on!" and like calls all these other Yosoki go over, and they drop their spoons, their little pickaxes, and other handheld tools, and they rush over to this drill.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
As I see Rita, I'm gonna ask, did our friend Kankashi show up?
You can see she turns and she shakes her head and she says, "To be honest, you all didn't take as long as we thought, so we just sent somebody out to go get him, but I'm sure he'll come. You all seem to trust him." You see behind Rita this very large Yosoki, very rotund. The fur is singed off around the hands and arms, and you can see they are wearing a set of coveralls with the words "Cosmic Falcons" that is emblazoned across the back. But they go up, and you can see they have all these tools. And you've heard of Donut, and Rita, you hear like a couple of other people talk to this individual who begins to take charge of this operation.
Before we like officially relinquish the drill, I'm gonna stop Rita and be like, Rita, you're gonna get your Yosoki out, right? And you're also gonna get anyone else in the jail out, right?
Well, we have a couple of different options. We got to get there pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys want to either help us get there quickly or take some time to plan, but you got to choose one or the other.
How much time do we have?
Only a couple hours before we need to get started, and it's up to you guys. But I drew a map, and we could take some time to plan.
Yes.
Let's see the
need
map.
a minute.
All right.
I'm hurting.
Donut, you take over, and Donut is already doing it, and he's just like, "I'm already doing this," and Rita just
Donut.
turns and takes you guys all over, and at the moment it is about 12:30 at night, but you all end up gathered around a small table, and you can still hear the sound of the drilling. You're not far. It's like a little side room in this tunnel. Give me 1 second here.
How does the short rest thing work?
10-minute short rest, you can spend 1 resolve point to regain all your stamina.
Okay. And then who's got hit point damage?
I don't. I was not hit once.
Is anyone else hurt?
I have
Spice just ran to
a
the car and got it and was like, "Come on, guys."
loss now.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna spend another resolve point, and I will heal all of us 48. So whoever needs it can have it.
So you can hear the sounds of mining
What is
off
this
in the
gross stuff
distance.
in
And
Alright, I'm back to full then.
I'm gonna call over Rita and be like, oh, wait, first Spice is gonna take a swig of the Lashunta liquor.
you take a big swig. You know that your voice will be deeper. But Rita also, she kind of pulls you over to this side room, and there is a huge, what at one point was an industrial spool of cable that has been turned over on its side to form a table. And Rita puts down an old, like almost neon green backpack that has been just stained to a dull brown over the years. And she unzips it, and she puts out a couple pieces of paper. Hang on 1 sec.
Oh no.
That's some cheese.
No, small.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No, we're good. We'll just make a little bit.
She's in the mummy.
Just cut a path.
Oh,
nice.
Hell yeah! Classic Give style map.
Big fan. All right.
So you can see there is a number of different, like, little, just very quickly done drawings. One seems to be of a little bit more ornately kind of drawn map. You see a picture of a donut on there, actually.
Yeah.
And you can see Rita points to this one, and she goes, "Oh, that one's first, and then the one I did on the Anubis one is second, and then sorry, the one on the lavender one is second, and then the Anubis one's third."
All right. So that's get into the building, do stuff. This is the jail cells, this part.
So you point at that to Rita, and Rita points, and she says, "So the first, that one is the actual jail cells where they're all being kept, and both of our people and anybody else who the GPF thinks is a real threat. There's special guards there, and all kinds of things that are keeping them safe."
So, okay. Guys, Mosaic. Are we going to the
Has it been 10
jail?
minutes?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still just.
No,
Yeah.
it's, yeah. So over this this is what's happening over this time.
Yes.
Yeah, I am not in this though.
Okay.
I'm smoking a cigarette continuously for 10 minutes.
I'm listening.
I wait fucking 10 minutes because apparently we can't have a conversation while someone recharges.
I mean, you can have a conversation.
No, but we need buy-in. The whole thing is like the.
I'm just sitting there.
Just-
Are
just
you
to-
listening though?
can
You
we
said
just-
you
I
weren't
mean,
in
I'm
it.
always
Yeah, can we
listening.
just-
So
I'm
can
just
you spread
sitting.
those out?
Can we just say for continuity purposes, 2 minutes pass and everyone's here.
Okay.
now.
So that first map Rita points to, and you can see Donut kind of going in, and she says, "So when we get to the end of this drill, because you got us the drill, we're going to get there pretty early, like 1:30, give or take. We have some time, which means we can get in really quiet. Donut's been working on something," he said, "that can get us straight through the side of the ventilation system, and so we can enter into the shafts." Now, I just had a little extra time, and so this isn't exactly what the shafts look like, but I took some artistic liberties. And she points, and it's like there's like a slight field of depth that has been given to it, and you can see like there's some bones that have been drawn in around where like the dirt would be. But she says, "We do know that somewhere just below the middle of the ventilation shafts, there's access points, and we should be able to hack the security system. And if we can do that, we can make the cameras loop. And so no matter what happens, we'll buy us a little bit of time." She points to the area that looks like a little furnace, and she says, "The biggest threat that we have to worry about is every hour the ventilation system heats up to 300 degrees in order to purge anything that's stuck in there, keep everything clean. And so given the window of time, we're only going to have about 10 minutes to get through the vents. Find the cameras, and if we can, we could maybe turn off the heat source. But at the end of that," and she points to this, what looks like a fan, "before we can actually get to the vents that lead to solitary, there's a big fan that channels all of this warm air out. We're going to need to drop through that. It should be going pretty slow, but the longer we take, the faster it's going to be going until it might be too fast to get through. And if that happens, we'll be stuck in the vents at 300 degrees, and then we'll be a bunch of cooked rats." She points to the final one. This is the one you were talking about. This is the maximum security area within the prison. It's the third sub-level underneath the GPF base, and this is a place where they're keeping all the dangerous folk. There's going to be security there. I'm sure they're going to have some kind of countermeasures, but this is kind of all we know.
Okay, and who's Socrates and Wrangling?
Those are our elders.
Okay. Do you know which one of these cells has
Mari.
Mari?
It took us a lot, honestly, just to get that information, and we weren't planning on breaking anybody else until just recently.
Okay, guys. So here's the thing, right? We have to decide if we're gonna go with Rita and to help with the jailbreak, or if we're gonna go elsewhere and see if we can capture our bounty while the jailbreak is happening.
I want to go into the jail. I want to get Mari free.
I think that, we should probably keep the momentum going, and if we're going to, try to prevent this, tons of dynamite from going off and cracking the city whole, maybe we should just try to help them be successful with the, prison escape, and then we can focus on the bounty after.
And we can help you, too. I mean, we're not really good at fighting, and so it might be good to have you guys around, but we can do a lot of other stuff. And if you need some other kind of elaborate plan to take down your bounty, we could help with that.
Hell yeah.
One way or the other, this will be a big blow to the GPF.
As long as you promise not to blow up the city.
Well, we won't need to if you help us.
Yeah. Okay.
Echo? Shade?
I don't care.
There's not a majority.
Yeah, there's three versus two. That's.
I haven't cast a vote.
Oh, okay.
May I see your store of dynamite?
Sure. And she kind of turns and she says, follow me. And following her into this tunnel, you have to go back a ways towards the actual area. And you remembered she had said there were 3 parallel tunnels. The opposite side from where you had gone to take this trip over to Quarry Hall Storage, there is a separate tunnel that she leads you to. And as you step in, you can actually smell gunpowder. But stepping into the actual chamber, it's only about 5 feet wide, about 3 feet on either side, just boxes.
Does everyone go or just Echo?
Whoever wants to. She's not. I mean, it's otherwise you're just kind of left there. I mean, at this point, they've given you all of their plans. You're in their home.
Yeah.
Like they trust you.
I just want to make sure Shade doesn't come with a lit cigarette. Is my concern.
Oh no, I'm still just
Yeah.
sitting in the
I'm
same
just
pile.
making a joke.
Rita,
Yeah.
if you are to do this on your own, you say you would require the dynamite for your plan,
Well, yeah.
even though you have the drill.
We might not need to use it, but to be honest, it would make covering the escape a lot easier if we're not able to get out cleanly. Like I said, we're not really fighters. So we expect to face resistance, and I don't know how easily it's going to be, or even possible, for us to get out.
I am a little concerned by the fact that you need to remind us that if we do not help you, you will use dynamite to destroy the city.
Not that we will, but it's just a real possibility. And it pays to be realistic.
Spice is going to. Are there any elders at the table? Or is
No.
it just. Okay.
I think
We're-
Bubs would probably walk
We're also
to
not,
catch up with Echo.
like, the table anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay at the
Oh.
table with Shade.
Yeah, I'm at the table.
So the 3 of you, and then Bubs, you run over to Echo.
Yeah, I'm probably like halfway. She's
No
probably
problem.
having the conversation. I probably don't get all of it.
I understand. I would request that you hold off on using dynamite if we are to help you. It might come in useful later.
Agreed. And we'd be happy to give all of it to you if we're able to get our people out of here and we don't need to use it. Doc's got some stuff. Tuesday's got some stuff that you could have. I'm sure we could help you.
Thank you. And Echo kind of like looks back and sees Bubs coming. We should probably make our way back to the others.
Hey. Yeah. Oh, okay. You guys are. Oh, okay. Wow.
And he like sees all the dynamite.
That's a lot.
And he gets like a little nervous.
Yeah. Let's head back.
Because he like wants to get away from
Yeah,
the dynamite
absolutely.
explosion. As he's like walking back, I guess he's like gonna like talk to Echo.
Echo. I noticed when you were with those other Echo units, they like gave you like some sort of like flower. Like they reached out and then they kind of withdrew it. Like as you were reaching for it.
Echo's eyes like slide over to Rita and looks like back at Bubs.
You can see she kind of like pointedly is like, oh, look at that. And just like kind of, it's very narrow, the
That's
space,
a
but she
neat
walks like a
fucking
foot
rock.
over and like, you can actually hear this kind of as her arm is like scraping against the
Gotta go
side.
inspect this gravel.
I mean, like, I know, like, we want to, like, make a great garden with me and everything, but, like, you know, if they don't want to share their plants, like, it's whatever. Like, who needs them? And, like, why would you even want their flowers? It's, like, they probably, like, debug all their flowers, and, like, bugs aren't, like, bad. Like, they're not mistakes. Like, bugs are important to plants. It's, like, part of, like, the symbiotic friendship and everything.
You kind of reach this main juncture between the 3 large tunnels, and Rita goes, I'm gonna go make sure they're doing okay, bye, and she just goes. And you see Rita like speed walking like an old person at a mall,
Well-
just straight up to you.
While they were gone, I'm gonna have a conversation with Shade.
yeah.
Shade, I don't want you to feel like this is like an in for a penny, in for a pound kind of thing. We can divert plans now. This is a junction. We can make a choice here.
Then make the choice.
Well, I need some input. What would be a better option? Should we?
I'm done.
What do you mean you're done?
I'm done.
Done with what?
I'm done with coming up with plans. If no one's ever going to follow them, then what's the point?
I guess that's true. I guess we should just not try at all. What's the point of even trying? What's the point of even continuing to live?
That's not what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, your nihilism can only go so far.
Guys, cool it. This is a tense moment, but keep your head on straight. We have to break these people out of jail.
We don't have to do anything. We don't have to work for Mosaic. We don't have to make all these choices. We don't have to continue to hurt.
Well,
I want to help. It feels good to help.
yeah.
It feels good to make a difference and do something important that I care about. But it doesn't feel good to have our relationships hurt and shattered. And I don't like the way this feels. I want to fix it, but I don't know how. I want you to feel listened to. I feel like we're always at odds with each other, and I just don't know how to get over myself.
Okay. What do you want me to do about that?
I guess nothing. I guess if you don't want to try,
Team!
I can just let it simmer.
All I've been doing is trying.
It's tough to try when there's 5 of us. When there's 5 different voices all trying to be heard, and I don't want to feel like it's not that we're not listening. It's just that nothing ever really goes. Your plans are all based on numbers and calculations and not. There's more than that.
How loud is this conversation, by the way?
Am I still deaf?
A little, honestly, yeah.
So pretty loud, because Gibbs is kind of loud organically.
Bubs probably hears it as he's like walking with.
Oh,
Echo back,
certainly.
and he's probably
What?
like talking. To
I was going to
Echo.
say, Bubs is talking real loud.
Now, also worth noting, because you are talking so loud, at this point you do see Dona approaching you. And Dona just kind of says, "Do you know what I do not like? People who are talking and doing nothing. So, if you are not going to help, make your plan and help us later. Yeah?" And he pulls from this little like satchel from his like dusty hands this what looks like basically a flask made out of metal, and he down on this makeshift table and he says, "Be friends for now. We need your help. Fight later." And he turns and goes back to this group.
What's the thing that he put on the table?
It's a flask.
Oh.
Yeah.
Spice
Oh.
is going to.
Make a fortitude saving throw.
Nice.
That's
And
that's a
I just-
lot of hard
At this
liquor.
point, me and Echo arrive, and I'm like still like talking to Echo.
And like in our garden, we could have like lights streaming up, and like it'll
Echo reaches over and takes Spice's cigarette out. Just
Spice doesn't say
Oh,
anything.
and that's another thing. We shouldn't have smoking in the garden either, because like
Shade
like
lights another
it could be
cigarette.
bad for the plants.
Echo reaches over and tries to take
Smack
shots.
it.
9.
It is not wise to smoke in this area.
Gibbs.
None of this is wise.
You take 2 entire mouthfuls of whiskey to the face. You are a relatively small creature. In fact, your size is small. And so you are drunk. On top of that, go ahead and make another fortitude saving throw. This is to progress your driller's sickness.
Oh, fuck.
Drunk and deaf.
While she's rolling after Echo.
I
I can't tonight. I can't fucking function. I'm drunk and what? Joe, tell me. Lay it on me.
As you take a huge quantity of alcohol to the face, it seems to not really help the deafness that you were just starting to get over. All of a sudden, it gets high-pitched again. It's harder to hear, and your hand begins to shake. And your other hand and your legs, and you begin to badly tremble to the point where you are now considered flat-footed.
Oh, shit.
Gibbs, this disease seems to be progressing.
Oh, it's a disease. That's the key word.
Did she like fall over?
Not fall over, but looking over, you see for a moment Gibbs is like walking
As I put the thing down,
on
it's
2 feet, and then like kind of every now and then on all fours, like as they navigate around things. But then all of a sudden, as they go down to all fours, it's like they stumble a little bit, and you hear like the ting as the bottle like hits a stone, and then Gibbs writes, and they seem just a little unsteady.
Yeah.
So I haven't cast a spell before, but I feel like I'm like, fuck, I fucked up. I lean into my emotions too much. Like, what would Shade say? Like, regret.
Are you yelling this out loud because you're deaf?
Yeah. So I haven't cast this before because it's not a great spell, but I'm gonna cast Remove Condition. But it says I can remove one of the following conditions affecting the target: frightened, nauseated, paralyzed, shaken, or sickened, or staggered. If the condition is a result from if the condition is a result of a disease or another ongoing effect, the spell removes the condition but does not cure the disease.
So that slides you back on the disease tracker. And so all of a sudden, as you
Thing we got tracked.
cast this spell, and what does it look like?
Oh shoot.
You have no juice.
No, I have some juice, but it takes a lot of juice for it's a level 2 spell, essentially, and it doesn't do a lot. So what does it look like? It looks like Gibbs will sort of get down on all fours and start to do the shaky thing she does when she likes to make a big mess somewhere. But the dirt will sort of like create an aura around her and then suck back in. And in that sucking back in, I'm able to steel myself to kind of progress a little bit.
Okay. So in this moment, as the dust out into this almost very similar to the cosmic cloud you can create, it then almost becomes like the sand that had adhered and in places still adheres to Shade. It sticks to you and then seems to almost seep into your pores, and you stop shaking. That ringing in your ears persists, and you are still deaf. And you would imagine you are going to be deaf until you are cured from this disease.
I will follow Donut.
For what it's worth, he put this flask down, turned and took 2 steps, and in that time, you chugged about half of it, slammed it down, almost collapsed on the ground, and then cast the spell very loudly after yelling, "What would she do?" And so he probably stopped, turned around.
I'm here for you, man.
You shout out in this very small space.
I'm so here.
You can see he winces at every word that you said, and he just goes, "We are being fucked." And he turns and just continues to walk towards and returns to this crew.
As Shade's lighting up and having just like swatted Echo's hand away, and with Echo's knowledge of what's up the tunnel, Echo just like telepathically messages Shade.
Digitally.
Digitally messages Shade.
222.
Says, if you are not going to be useful, then you can go back to the van. I am also having problems, but you do not see me moping about it.
It's not about utility. It's about not following through on any of the plans that we come with.
Then perhaps at least have some self-preservation, and do not light a cigarette in a tunnel filled with gunpowder.
I just survived being on the back of a drill. I think my survivability is okay.
Echo just like slow blinks and looks away.
Rita the whole time has been sitting there just like putting her paws together really awkwardly after first the kind of conversation between you guys happening, and then that was all digital though. Oh yeah.
As well.
I think Spice would go over while they're fighting, while everybody's fighting.
That was just
We
We
silence.
just stared intensely.
Yeah, but
at
Rita's
him.
just like standing there and like feels the tension.
She's
And then
gonna
just
go
goes,
over.
So I was gonna ask if y'all needed any help, but maybe you just need some privacy.
Oh no, we need help, obviously. Oh, Spice is speaking in her real voice now. My name
They
is
know
Spice,
who we
by the
are.
way. Former captain of Mosaic Team 5. Nice to meet you. And she lets the arms drop dead.
Oh,
And then she reaches out with him. I'm a Legenda, not a Cassandra, but shh.
okay, sure. Shh.
Mari is my friend. We were in the GPF together, and I need to get her out. And she whistles to Donut and calls him over too. She's like, Donut, we're gonna need you.
Gibbs, you can't hear anything. You're pretty close to Donut, and you see suddenly his shoulders tense up for a second, and then like sag down, and you don't hear anything, but you see him turn around.
I follow his gaze and I see that was that Spice? And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's the reaction I have too. So I'm like, okay. So I'm just gonna plod along with Donut being my spirit guide for now.
Bubs feels in this motion like he like had all these like things he wanted to say about the garden, and like he's just like full of emotion, and like he likes to like just talk like about like all the things he wants to do like excitedly, and then he's just like, oh wait, everyone's serious now. I'll do it later. And he like tries to like kind of reassemble himself.
All right, could you turn the camera a little bit towards Dan? I'm just noticing he's a little off frame.
All right, Donut, tell me about the Cosmic Falcon coats you guys are wearing. Those are fun. As she like pulls up the back of his jacket.
He plods back and he says, could you just talk to me when I am here before I leave? This is back and forth for no reason. This is Lockout Team. I am fan.
Oh my, you know Lockout? What? We were almost on the Grey Ghosts.
I do not know what that is.
Well, that was another Lockout Team. This is a conversation for another time, but
Yes.
good to know.
Bubs is gonna look at his clock on his comms.
Guys, it is getting later, and we do have to make some moves.
Is there anything else before I leave one last time?
Well, do you have any equipment that you could possibly let us borrow?
You see, he picks up his comm and he just goes, Tuesday, they are needing you. And just hangs up and goes, anything else?
You gonna send any reinforcements to come along with us?
We are not fighters, but is there a skill that you lack?
Heat survivability. I'm quite toasty.
Do you have anyone who's kind of like sneaky?
We got Echo for that.
Oh, are you sneaky? I think
Yes.
you're fast.
We're
Okay.
sneaky.
Okay.
Echo just like
All
turns
androids are
back.
sneaky.
Okay.
He kind of turns and looks at like your group and says, I think you have that covered.
Spice is gonna give Donut a thumbs up, and then 3 more.
If you can
Following
be
one.
on standby to provide guidance for when the prisoners are released, that would be helpful.
I will be.
Could you maybe do a distraction, not near the prison, but maybe on another side of Perdido?
Like what?
I don't know.
Wrangle a sandworm. Wasn't that an idea we had? Maybe we should follow through on that one because all of our ideas are winners.
Make a diplomacy check.
Nice. Fuck yeah. Oh wait, but I'm rolling like craps.
Can
The
you
more
hear
I
what he
roll,
said?
No, you're also drunk, so I'm
yeah. I
assuming
mean, all
that's
these plans are really
I
passive
imagine you hear
aggressive.
every part of the word.
Guys, diplomacy. 14, but I rolled a 4.
You just start shouting and he winces away a little bit.
Donut, I mean, I'm not really from here, so I mean, if you have any ideas about distractions, is there anything you guys typically do? If you want to, just grab the attention from someone else?
Well, we live beneath the ground to avoid attention,
Yeah.
but we have a whole bunch of dynamite.
I have an idea. So, the parade. We're gonna break in during the parade, and there's gonna be
For
fireworks.
the parade.
Before the parade.
Shit.
Yeah.
Hopefully in 1 hour or less.
But maybe we could use just a little bit of the dynamite, for something.
Can you put the dynamite somewhere and set it up from a distance? And it doesn't really matter where as long as there's not civilians.
Yes. Do you have vehicle, car, van, speeder?
We have an eats
Dumpster?
meats train. eats meats fan.
That will work.
Echo thinks about this. It's like,
So you don't mind.
60,000 credits. If it was just like a straight corporate van, yeah.
I would be willing to make deliveries.
Oh, that might work.
Oh, you can hide it. I got like
So what you are saying is I am done here.
Yes, bye, donut.
Okay, goodbye. And he just turns,
Send Tuesday our way.
really big sigh, and you actually hear like the skitter of another Yosoki coming around the corner. And,
Where would you make the deliveries?
Dynamite will need to be placed in strategic locations across Perdido. It would be best if we did that quickly and quietly.
Oh, yeah.
But if one person sees it, you know, the whole gig's up. It's bottoms up to the
So
gig.
at this point, scampering around the corner, you can see this very, very thin Yosoki, even shorter than you. Kind of like a really runty looking, very white fur, although you can see patches of it are kind of missing. But at the moment, they're wearing just a dirty white t-shirt and cargoed shorts. And you can see like all kinds of little things sticking out of them, patches of paper. Reminds you very much of your vest almost, just shorts form.
He's very cute, Yosoki.
But he makes his way over, and you can see he's holding a little data pad, and he goes, "So Donna told me there's something that you needed. This is for the prison."
It's for us, for the prison break.
Are you
Can you
Tuesday?
speak a little louder?
Pleasure to meet you.
I am. What do you need?
Temple weave.
Temple weave.
Tempo weave. Temp
Is that a food?
weave.
Seljun Demay has the temp weave.
Yeah, but like, what if this guy has it too?
Why would he have it?
Why? Because there's only one whole temp weave in the entire galaxy? Because there's an inventory.
So is it food?
No, is all you got food?
No.
Oh, it's like a bodysuit.
Armor.
Ah,
As this is going, I imagine I have a map out with Echo, and we're looking at various parts of Perdido.
I
Would
would
you?
probably focus my attention towards this endeavor because
The only thing that we have for armor right now is Zezera Diffractor. It's light armor. Would that be helpful?
is that better than what I have?
Zezera Diffractors are level 2 light armor.
I got the armor from that guy. That we.
Clear.
I can't remember off the top of my head if that's
Yeah,
better.
I ever ran out somewhere.
Jesuit.
It was like crap for everyone else but me. It was an upgrade for me.
I
Claire
do
Weaver's
have
level
some
3.
armor upgrades, if that would be helpful, but not a lot of actual armor, I'm afraid.
We'll take whatever we can get Tuesday. Thank you.
Well, for armor, if you have the space, I do have a radiation buffer, and I have an old GPF infrared sensor.
Ooh, I'll do an
They're both
infrared.
just level 1. They're nothing especially military grade.
I'll take one of those.
Well, I only have one. I'm not really much of a shop. I'm a collector of things, and I trade when I can. But this is a special
Oh, it's not
occasion,
two items:
so-
GPF sensor and the radiation badge thing.
No, those are two different things.
Okay, yeah.
You want those, both of them?
Which one do you want? I'll take the other one.
One's a GPF sensor and one's a.
One is a GPF branded infrared sensor, and it's an armor upgrade. The other armor upgrade that they have for sale is a radiation buffer. Both are level 1.
Does it take up a slot?
Yeah, it's an armor upgrade.
Okay, yeah. I think I'll just take the radiation badge.
Okay, so it's a radiation buffer level 1.
Clear weave 1?
Okay. So I'm gonna take the infrared sensor.
Okay, infrared sensors level 1. Is there anything else that I can help you with?
We have the maps. We just need you to look out for us, behind us, when we go in and when we take people out. It's gonna have to be quick.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have your own gear, that's fine then.
I haven't been adding the fact that I'm wearing clear weave to any of my things.
Is there anything else that you could think
I feel
of?
like you're hinting at something that I'm not picking
Well,
up.
it's just that most of the time when we go on scouting missions, we bring all kinds of gear with us. And
Yeah, do you have like a lock pick or?
I have a glass cutter.
Ooh, okay, glass cutter. Yeah, okay.
You can add a glass cutter Mark II.
I already have one.
Yeah, okay, but you're not being my friend right now, so glass cutter. Okay, and then okay, if we get there and the guys are in bad condition, the prisoners, do you have anything to help with that?
He looks through
Like a
and he
crutch?
says, Not a crutch, but I do have a very simple med patch, and I could also give you. I would only use it in an emergency, but an excitant it might help them get going if they're in a little bit of pain.
Excitant. I'll take that and a med patch, please, because I only have a. I had a med patch now.
That is a level 1 med patch and a tier 1 excitant.
While Tuesday is still here, Echo looks up at and says, "Do you have any remote detonators?"
Remote detonators. Let me look. I thought they did, but maybe not. I'm afraid I don't.
What would you need, Shade, to engineer some remote detonators for the dynamite that the Yosoki have?
Didn't we get some UPBs from that place?
Did?
Oh, we brought it with us?
Yeah.
UPBs, I'd probably need my engineering station or something.
Wait, did you guys have an engineering station here?
Oh, yes.
Oh, nice. We got one.
Instead of like just a remote detonator, maybe just like a timer and something simple like that.
Oh, I have many timers.
Could you maybe Shade like make something to work with like a timer for like a bomb?
Probably right.
Yeah, oh yeah, you know
okay.
off the top. I mean, you'll have to roll to make it, but
Right,
you know intrinsically this is something that can be done.
And that way, like it can't be like remotely hacked. Like it just like it's just a timer. Just just you can't stop time.
I think that's a great idea.
Could still be hacked.
Yeah, maybe.
Echo just lets Bubs have.
Yeah, Bubs doesn't know. Really.
And do you have hedge trimmers? You know the bolt cutters
Hedge trimmers.
or bolt cutters. One of those is the thing I was
I have
trying.
an engineering toolkit. I have a sledgehammer. That's sort of
Will it fit in my backpack?
probably not.
Oh,
It's a nice sledgehammer.
yeah. It
Do
looks
you
nice.
have any metal cutting knives
Any metal cutting knives? That's
or
very
blowtorches?
Ooh, blowtorches. Well,
nothing of that nature.
I have a
creme
blowtorch.
brulee
The small one.
for all of us.
I have a dermal stapler.
Ooh, I want that. Derma means skin.
Yes.
Nice. I take that.
You can add a level 3 dermal stapler.
That's always good to hear from your medic. Derma means skin.
I'm a good medic.
I have 2 questions for you, Tuesday.
Yes.
Completely wrong.
Spice is going to pull out the drow biosynth poison that she has in her backpack and show it to Tuesday, being like, "Do you have any more of this?"
That looks like poison. I don't think so. I have spray deodorant. I have.
Ew. Why?
We just find it sometimes. You can set it on fire. I have a nanite hypo pen, but
What's that?
Typo pen. Is it a pen that only writes in typos?
no. It's a healing thing, and it's meant for a specific disease, so I don't know that it would be especially helpful for you. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
However,
Titus.
I also have
I
another
see
question.
The sledgehammer.
of course. And they
gonna be
proffer
regular.
to you a level
Just
3
a normal
sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer, yeah.
Level 3.
Oh, what is it called?
Sledgehammer. Level 3.
Whoa.
That's how it's pronounced?
The nano typo pen. What do you know what color it
hypo
is?
pen. Looking at it as they hold it, it is brown.
Oh, it's a lesser remove condition, and I have the real remove condition, so it's crappier than the crappy spell
Echo
I
still
have.
wants it though.
Oh, could we borrow that for Echo?
Yes. And they hand it right over.
Okay.
It probably won't be a borrow because you can only use it once.
Oh, but here you think. Here you go. Here you go. And Gibbs, in typical Yosoki fashion, will pilfer through her items and provide some back. And they can choose all or some of those to pay for the items we are.
Are you willing to just hand over all these things?
Yeah.
What? You were saving those.
Okay.
But
You
I'm
watch
saving
as
those
Gibbs
for.
puts
for the
out
rebellion.
a United Solar Republic emergency flare gun, a bone
Gibbs,
knife
no!
that is made from bone,
Well, these would have been
the
so helpful on
Codicus
our mission.
fire needler pistol,
Why couldn't we have used these on
Yeah,
I
and the level
literally-
5 GPF advanced needler rifle.
We had a.
I want that one. Spice.
I
You're
literally.
giving away Peeps'
No.
rifle?
No, that's
And he
a
told us
different
not
like
to.
item.
Needler rifle.
I literally like offered it in like situations where you were like, oh, I want the tempo weave or whatever. I was like, this is the like
Tempo.
currency.
Temp weavers
Tuesday
are-
looks at all this stuff and
Yeah.
goes, "This is all stuff that we could use. We don't have many weapons, really."
Hey, thank you.
Well, I do have a few things that I confess maybe I didn't bring out at first because they're expensive.
Can I confess something too?
Yes.
I don't know why. So June is like intimidated by you. You're so nice.
Seljun is intimidated by me.
I
I find that very hard to believe.
No, I cross my heart, hope to
Make
die.
a diplomacy check.
Well, I'm telling the truth, but okay.
That's why it's not a bluff check.
Alright. Stop making me roll, Joe. I know you're my DM, but like, can we? Diplomacy. 21.
21. Okay.
Not a bad one.
Interesting. Well,
Stick a needle in my eye. I swear to God, I'm telling the truth.
I'll have to remedy that. I really don't want to be on Seljun's bad side.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know, and thank you for all this. I have some things that might be helpful for you. And just 1 minute. And he scampers off down the hall. And after about a minute, returns, lugging a nicer black backpack.
Nice.
Looks a little heavy. And he says, "Now, I'm going to lend this to all of you." The first thing that he pulls out, it looks like it has elements of mechanical things to them. It looks almost like a prism that is mounted to like a backpack unit. And I would say, Shade, you would recognize this. This is a signal jammer. But not only is it a signal jammer, this is a military-grade GPF special operations signal jammer, level 7.
Wow.
How do I know that?
Would you want to trade for the
This
radiation bag instead of-
is very. It's not that you know this exact type, but
just
you
know
recognize
what
it's a signal jammer, and it has the orange circle surrounded by the
GPF
F
symbol.
symbol. Exactly.
Okay.
But this is a level 7 signal jammer.
Nice.
They reach into the backpack again, and they said, "I think maybe this would be good for you. I like to use it down here in some of the taller cabins to clean the ceilings and, well." He pulls out this, it's a belt. And as you look at it, there are all these little glass tubes that have bubbles and fluids in them. And he says, "Now it is a bit fragile, and it's a bit of a prototype, and I'll confess, I don't really know what it comes from. So please be careful with it. This is an anti-gravity belt, level 7.
Wow.
Anti-gravity belt?
Yes, level 7.
Me and Oliver are going to trade the radiation badge for the infrared. I'm gonna take
No
the
problem.
infrared. What level is the infrared sensor?
The infrared sensor is level 1.
Okay.
Radiation buffer is level 1.
Yeah. I figured I already have defense on my armor stuff already, so I should probably not.
I don't
just
have any.
multiple defense stuff.
But that's sort of the best that I have. I've got some regular items and sort of consumer grade material if you need anything. I have some kind of a ceremonial costume I haven't looked at.
What?
Ceremonial
Probably at the top, so,
costume?
Yes.
Like what?
I have it's I think like a
Those chaps.
do you know Hylax?
She takes off one of her gloves on her left hand and flashes her tattoo of Hylax.
You can see Tusa goes, oh, and like reaches into their first bag, and they pull out this very dusty kind of, it's like priest vestments, and you can see a matching symbol that is embroidered in gold thread right where the chest would be across the top part. And it says, "Look, these must be made for you," and just kind of hands them over.
Wow, thank you. Spice takes it and looks at her hand and looks at this and has a moment.
I've been using this to wrap up fragile things, so I really have no use for it.
It's just an outfit?
Yes, I think it's not quite. And this is actually. Give me 1 second here.
Priestly garb.
Sort of. It is. I'll find it later, but it's a personal. Oh, clothing - ceremonial level 1.
Okay. Dope.
I've looked this up before.
You're only a level 1
Does it
priest.
sound familiar that the thing you gave us when we met that guy who was really particular about his name was
Did he
that
say-
second skin?
What?
Yeah.
Chiswick one time.
Was that second skin? Do you
Each
remember?
chick-
off
yes,
the-
second
Oh, right.
Each chick
Cool.
one.
So
It
what?
wasn't Clearwave?
No,
Clearweave somebody else got.
we all got that from.
I thought we got second
I got
skin.
flight
No.
skin
We got Clearweave?
because that was I got the
Yeah, he
upgrade.
There were several different
Stealth
options
weapon.
presented. All of you are presented with one option, and a few of you sort of asked about upgrades. One of you got a side grade, I would argue, and one of you got an upgrade, I think.
Okay. So then I got second
I
skin and
think
everyone else
Bubs
got.
wants the hammer. He'll take the infrared sensor. He's gonna ask,
Do you have like a seeker slime?
A seeker slime.
it's like a very common.
I've got a compost slime. It's something that I use for my own home, but I would be willing to share it.
Compost slime?
Yes, it.
Blood type person.
You can only really use it once, but I have a few, and it's basically just a bath in a can. The slime you place on you, and it just eats all of the dirt off of you.
Why would you ever want that?
Oh,
There's a few people who prefer to work with finer things, and when they do, they would like to be cleaner, and so they use them in part on their hands.
yeah.
Is it like in a container or is it just like?
Are you asking him?
Yeah. Is it like in a container or is it like?
Comes in a can.
They actually come in these little tins, and he pulls this out, and it looks very much, those like slime containers,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It looks like that. There's like a little hole, and you can see like the very green-looking slime, and as he shakes it, you can see it kind of back and forth within this thing.
Bubs is like kind of like skeptical of something that can clean besides antibacterial stuff, but he'll take it as like a curiosity, like, oh yeah, maybe.
Okay, yeah, no problem. You can add. I believe it's actually a level 3 item. Is this compost slime?
A level 3 item that cleans you.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
Tuesday.
level 3 clean.
You're so cool.
Well, thank you,
Thank you.
but really, thank you. You're helping us a great deal.
I hope we're helpful.
Yeah, fuck the GPF. Let's go get them, tigers.
All right. All hands in. And I
All
put
right,
my hand
Steven.
in, and I wait for everyone else, including Tuesday, to put their hand on top of my hand.
Tuesday like hesitates, but looking around. And
Rita,
seeing
you
look
two,
at
Donut,
that,
get over here.
Puts a hand in.
Donut's like,
Rita,
Oh,
Rita
Donut's
comes
gone.
in and puts a hand in. Yeah, Donut is like probably about 80 feet away now. They're making pretty good progress.
Bubs
I feel like
puts,
Donut just like.
Bubs puts like a hand sanitizer wipe over his hand, and then he puts it on the top of everyone else's.
Okay.
And I wait. I wait.
You're gonna wait for a while.
We are all just waiting.
Shade is not paying attention to this.
Okay, so I think
All right, on 3, 1, 2.
Well, Spice is gonna grab Shade's hand, force it in.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like resist, but
Nice. All right, on 3, we're gonna say fuck the GPF. Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Fuck the GPF.
yeah.
Tuesday like doesn't seem like they really want to swear, and so they kind of just mutter. But yeah, no problem.
Heck in yeah.
So
Heck them.
back to what you were doing, Echo, with the map. Did you find any good places?
There are quite a few pertinent locations where we can lay the dynamite for distraction purposes. Probably the best places to lay dynamite in order to incite rebellion and get the GPF off of our backs is to put the dynamite into locations that the GPF hold.
You want know what? You should put Freshy's gang under the dynamite.
Maybe like
I will not.
I start on that art project somehow.
maybe like linking to Yusoki stuff isn't the best idea for this.
Yeah, but these are the worst. You said.
Do you have like any thoughts about that gang, about like what Echo just said about good strategic locations?
I plan to place dynamite near the Oasis Casino, near Harbinger, near Warmonger, and Harbinger is not here.
Yes, it is.
Harbinger
Yeah.
Harbinger
it
is here. Yay, there it is. It's just a different color in my notes.
Oh, those.
Down in the distance, you hear the sound of rocks kind of exploding out, and you hear a couple little Yosoki cheers, some sighs of relief. It sounds like they broke through to this area that they were trying to get to.
So
I
maybe
do
you can
not
only.
have much time.
And Rita kind of nods at this. She takes her hand back, first of all, out of this pile, after you guys do your GPF thing. And she
Tuesday,
says,
the detonators.
Oh, and he like kind of scurries off. He comes back with an armload,
Are these
egg
the timer
timers,
ones? Yeah.
hourglasses, like pretty much everything digital. You can see some that are like the old-fashioned. You turn and they downtime. He has a couple of mosquito coils. He has all different kinds of things.
Echo's going to take like the 5 most modern timers
Okay.
and look over at Shade. I will require assistance in the engineering labs.
After you.
And Echo looks back to Tuesday. Your engineering labs, if you please.
Follow me, and leads you off, and if you wish you can return with him through the pit and off into an area that you can actually see almost certainly is Donut's workshop. You can see there are just tools strewn about everywhere, and though it looks a mess, Bubs, are you going? Or is it just the two of them?
Sure, I guess I can help.
Bubs, as you enter this place, it smells of machine oil, but the whole place,
I
though
can
it is.
smell it?
Oh no, you can't smell it.
Yeah,
That's true.
okay.
You
But
get
you,
the sense
as you kind of like,
You've only said I've been able to smell one thing, and
yeah,
it was
and that was very mindfully important.
I wrote
Spaghetti.
it down. It's
Mom
It
spaghetti.
was Jade.
yeah, it was Jade.
You
and
were
it
able to
was,
smell your mom? That's
It wasn't
really cute.
technically it wasn't Jade, but it's
Rosemary.
something related to that.
It was
yeah,
Mom's
rosemary.
spaghetti.
yeah.
And so you also, it's like when you brush your hand against it, you can feel that there's oil on here, but it's not dirty oil. This is machine oil, lubricant. And as you look around, though this place is messy, you see parts everywhere. Not a speck of dust in this space. And as you walk in, you actually feel this little bit of wind or air go across your face. And looking up, you can see there are vents like pulling air out of here. And so dust almost unable to settle.
Oh, wow, quite a setup you got here, Donut. How do you keep this place clean? Is it like the vents or something?
Well, I'm Tuesday, but Donut
Oh,
keeps
sorry.
this very
Somebody's
clean.
confusion.
He's very particular. But please feel free to use any of the functions here. Just don't break anything, or Donut will break you.
Oh, we wouldn't break anything. Of course not. We're very like respectful of people's property.
I'm just joking, mostly. I'll leave you to it. And he just kind of scurries off into the tunnels.
Bubs is probably gonna just like be the tool hander to Shade like he usually is.
Okay. You are the engineering squire.
Echo would probably help Shade construct
Two squires.
timers.
You'd
They've
also probably-
have experience with like mechanical work before.
So with the three of you, using the power of teamwork, you use enough conditional modifiers where you do not need to roll.
Nice.
This is very simple. You are setting a timer on TNT. This is something that any of us could do in about a half an hour. And so for androids in a place in the future, no problem.
Bubs is amazed. He's like,
Wow, these guys are so cool. Like,
All right, it's done.
maybe we could like make like a timer for our garden or something.
As
Like
Bub
water
says
them.
this, Shade, you just take a screwdriver, like unscrew the back, pop the back plate off, and just connect the wire to like a fuse line. It's very, very simple.
Yeah.
It's like a step away from just like using a match and a piece of string, but no
too
problem. So you do this, and it takes you literally 5 minutes. This is something that you can just bang out, no problem.
I do so.
Now, this fuse, you can add to any amount of dynamite and kind of like link it in parallel in order to create a larger and larger explosion. How much dynamite are you attaching to this?
Echo just wants this to be a distraction and not to cause like destruction.
Okay.
To cause like forces to look elsewhere. So Echo's not going to take a whole lot, just enough to make a really big bag, maybe like
Make a physical sciences check.
hole
Unless,
in the
Kara, you
wall.
know what this is, the weight kind of yield is that you're
10
looking for.
cc stat.
I would say maybe like 5 sticks of dynamite per detonation.
15.
15? Okay. The only reference that you can think of, there was a time where you delivered, we'll say, detonators that were set for missiles. They were 500-pound bomb fuses. And so maybe, 500 pounds is what a bomb is. So what kind of weight yield are you looking for? You can see each stick of dynamite, probably about a pound.
my foot, sorry.
So you can kind of extrapolate from there as best you can.
So 4 missiles, 500 pounds. But missiles mean blow up destruction.
I don't really know. A 14 is not super high.
It's a 15.
Oh, sorry. 15 also not even close to what you did.
Kara really doesn't want Echo to attempt to take 25,000 pounds.
Too much and you blow up a big part of the city. Too little and it doesn't work.
Would I know the
Echo's gonna
proper load amount?
Make a physical science.
So Echo's gonna start like looking around for a crate in which to load up with dynamite.
Okay.
19.
19. You see Echo getting far too much
Can I
dynamite.
use my not used yet occupation of saboteur?
Yes.
Oh!
You absolutely can. And I would say for that, roll a fortitude saving throw, please.
What?
Fortitude.
Do you also have the diggers?
19 for the fortitude save.
No problem.
And
You think about this, and with a little bit of a plus from that background, suddenly it occurs to you. Typically, for something like a mortar, that's a 30-pound bomb. That's a 30-pound yield. 500 pounds is far, far too much.
Yeah.
You're probably looking for maybe 2-3 pounds, and that would be enough to destroy a vehicle.
like 5 sticks.
Yeah, 5-6 is probably still on the higher end.
Okay.
But yeah, you could 5 would be. You're not gonna level a block.
It's price of right rules. Highest retail amount of dynamite without going over.
Yeah, exactly. It'll always be the perfect amount. But when you go one stick over, it levels the city. Yeah. I can only afford 2 animations. So.
Echo's probably by this point like just like trying to stock their arms, not having found a crate, and
Yeah.
it's like carrying like probably 40 pounds.
Bubs
Can
will
I
assist.
pass her a plastic baggie?
You're not
Sure.
there.
Yeah, it's just us left in this.
Oh, I'm
room.
trying to sober up a little.
Yeah, you're drunk and deaf.
Yeah.
And I want to. Can I check in on myself and see if there's any way that I can solve the deafness problem with my? Like, I'm like, you idiot. What's wrong? Like, I know the drunkenness, but the deafness specifically.
Can we call over a miner and ask if they like one of the Soki miners?
Hey, you child!
Are you doing that?
Yeah, Spice is going to usher over one of the Soki miners. And
Ask
point
Keemer.
at their-
You can see Kima's not here.
Darn it.
It's literally 1 a.m. But you can see this miner who's wearing overalls and a hard hat that's yellow with one of those lights. So the light doesn't work, so it's just kind of there for show. He puts his little pick down and he comes back over and he goes, "What?
Hey, friend. We've got a mining sickness over here. Do you know how to cure
Mining
this?
sickness? Yeah. What's a mining
Or whatever
sickness?"
Digger's disease.
You just start shouting,
Digger's
disease! And he kind of winces and just goes, "Oh, you were using the drill without protection."
Yes, that was us.
Oh,
Can I fix this?
no, but we can.
Oh, okay.
He kind of walks back over, and you can see he tugs on Donut's like belt
No.
off the distance. You can see
Donut
Donut
does.
tenses up. He's like, "This is like almost. This is far away, and you can basically just see their silhouettes lit by everything that's like lighting the drill as it goes." And you can see Donut looks down, and you just see them like tugging, and then they point back to you, and Donut turns, and his whole body
both
like
of us are waving.
shifts down.
I will drunkenly help have that distance, kind of bouncing along the tunnel walls.
Okay. Is anybody going with Gibbs?
Yeah, Spice.
Okay.
Just
So
trotting
Gibbs
behind her. Like,
wandering
let's go.
around.
Donut, you know how to say.
Spice, you can hear Donut just goes, "No, keep them away from me." And they just give him this bag. And this miner just comes back and just goes, "All right, here you go." And just hands to you this. It's like a little, very similar to the hypo pen that you had, different color.
I'll shoot it into my arm or whatever. Is that how that works?
So you go, and you take this pen and shoot it into your arm. And yes, that is how it works.
And then can I kind of extend my hand for a second
Suppository.
one? There was 2 of us.
Supposed to be ingested orally.
Reaches into the bag and pulls out another one and pops it in your
Exactly
hand.
how I drop.
Okay.
He goes back and gives his back to
Spice is going to pat him on the
Donut.
back and see him off.
Okay, thanks. So
I think we're ready.
you have your bombs.
Yeah.
You want to go set this explosive? Where are you going to set this explosive?
Echo is going to zip over to the Eats Meats factory.
Okay.
Zip, zip.
Zoop.
And they're going to look for a couple of empty eats meats crates.
Okay. No problem. They're all over the place.
And they're going to take a few.
Okay.
Nice.
And carefully place.
Just chuck some dynamite in there.
Bring up in the van.
Carefully place the dynamite into the crates
Okay.
and then load the van.
Nice.
Okay. No problem.
They are going to make deliveries
All this.
to the loading dock of the Oasis Casino,
Okay.
Harbinger Robotics,
Okay.
and Warmonger Industries, and one to the prison entrance.
If you're doing all of that, I would want to warn you prior to that there's going to be high activity in Watch Row because something's going down with the GPF during the parade, which everyone seems to have forgotten.
And one thing that you would notice as you drive around, Watch Row is crawling with GPF. And there are elements to the GPF that you have not seen yet. As you're driving, you almost turn down a road to head off in the direction of the actual base, and blocking almost the entirety of it. You can see standing roughly 16 feet tall, there is a powered walking mechanized suit. Within, you can see the cockpit like open to the air. There is a GPF soldier. There's another 6 of them behind. And you can see at the moment they seem to be going, 2 of them, like on either side of the street, like door to door, looking in windows. They're kind of sweeping the street. And as you look down, you kind of like don't drive down that street and continue on the next street. You see much further down, same kind of thing. You keep going. There's a lot of them on that street. And so in order to get to that, you're going to have to pass one of these Walker and 6 GPF checkpoints.
To get to the base, everywhere else is fine? Or
Yeah, you'd be able to get to almost everywhere else. I think the only other place that would be difficult would be the Oasis Casino. And that's right on the edge of Watch Row, I believe. And so even that, I would say that's going to come down to the disguise check.
Right. Echo is... Hold, please. I just navigated away from the map.
Okay, not a worry.
Echo is going to take...
I think I also, if Shade mentioned that, I think I would also have mentioned that Seljun told us to bring the Eat Meats van near places that serve Eat Meat stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Echo's not with you anymore.
That helpful amount is spoken to the air.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever tell Echo that Kankashi's shop is carry iron?
Yeah, we
Yes.
were
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
referring to it as
That's
cast
established.
iron
Yeah.
Kinkashi.
Just wanted to be sure, because that is a really good place to place a bomb.
Yeah.
There's also
Here's-
I mean, you could.
information about it if needed.
Yeah, but it was more of like,
Okay.
did Echo receive
Yeah,
that
yeah.
knowledge? Because Echo would avoid it.
Yeah.
I think
Echo would
it
probably make a
Kilroy's.
delivery to I was gonna say Kilroy's. It's on the edge of Watch Row.
Kilroy's.
GPF hangout.
No, that's...
And
Yeah,
it's a
Make a
GPF
disguise check.
yeah, that is the...
GPF hangout,
Hey, it's
certainly.
your choice.
And interestingly, it's quieter here than almost any other part of Watch Row. This is where people go on their time off. And nobody really has time off today.
Because they're doing something
There's no
big.
after hours
21?
at Kilroy's.
21.
They close at 12.
It's pretty empty, and so without any trouble, you can go almost straight up to this door. It's a very, like, you can see, through the door, the whole entirety of the bar that I saw with the little nose guy going over. But there is no windows aside from the door, and so standing off to either side of the door, you can just kind of slide a crate up and just drive off. They don't even see you.
Yep.
No problem.
And once that's done, Echo returns the van to the Eats Meats distributor, and if there's time, they set the timers to go off in about, so they said an hour, so Echo would have probably set it for 2 a.m.
Okay.
Nice.
So I would say that would put you back with this group at 1:05 a.m. All of you would find, and anybody who wants to mark off or to spend points on a short rest,
Yeah.
you're absolutely welcome to do that in this time, except for Echo. But that time ticks by, and at 1:05, when Echo returns,
We all
Rita comes back to all of you.
Do I sober up?
Over the course of that time, you do.
Cool.
And your hearing returns.
With the
Yes.
so I'm good.
Rita gets all of you together and just goes, well, I guess we're ready. Is there anything else that you guys need?
Just a hug.
Rita goes over, just gives you a big hug. And as she does, she whispers into your ear, I'm never going to forget this. I promise we'll help you.
And I want to, kind of, as I'm hugging her, just grip a little bit of her fur and make sure that when my hand pulls away, I have some biologicals of Rita's.
Yeah, no problem.
Ow.
Some hair.
It's easier when you're made of fur to get that.
Yeah, oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
like, much easier on the Yusoki kind, so.
So no problem. You do that. You follow the pathway, walking by the drill that has been shifted over to the side. And as it is 8:21, as you step through and can see this big metal grate, you see Donut, who is currently taking what looks like a sprinkler head and beginning to like tape it to the metal grate. That is where we're going to take a break.
Nice.
So it is 8:21, where you're going to step away for just a little bit, and then we will be back at 8:31. We'll see you then.
trash.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Mosaic Team 5, our original Starfinder campaign. We're going to jump right back into it. When we left off, our group had successfully stolen a large industrial drill, tunneled beneath a town, and entered into the chamber around what is
the plans.
foundation and the ventilation systems of the GPF prison, which itself is located 4 stories deep beneath the GPF outpost. So all of you walking around the drill enter into this big space. You see this sheer metal structure rising up, and you can see Donut. He has what looks like a sprinkler head that you would see out on the lawn, yellow, all the mechanisms, although there are several things attached to it. But he is currently now taping it to the wall. Rita kind of leaves you all here with the rest of the Yosoki, like gathering their things, beginning to clear this out. You'd imagine they're going to set this tunnel up to collapse behind once you guys all leave. However, Donut stays for a little bit, and he turns to face all of you. So, are you ready? When we go, you will have 10 minutes, or cooked alive. Yes?
Yes.
You understand. You must do something to these cameras.
Shay, can you hack the cameras?
I should be able to.
Good.
Can you detect them? Are they here? Or you need to get in closer.
They're not here. They're on the 4th story.
So you guys right now are level with the 4th
We're
sub-level
level with the 4th sub-level
of this
Okay.
place. Now, you would imagine, as long as the computer terminal is within your range, you will be able to do it.
Yeah.
Can you not?
Are these accurate 5 by 5 foot squares for this map, or is this just
imagine Joe probably has
a close approximation?
You remember Rita said that this was not an accurate map.
Right.
She just got kind of bored while she was drawing it, and so this was mostly artistic in nature.
Yeah.
However, as Donut sees that you're holding these 3 pieces of paper, you can see Donut shakes his head and says, "Do not trust those. Follow sounds, sights, smells. Trust your senses. Not this." And he gestures at this pile of garbage, essentially.
Bubs is going to turn on his scent spray and just put on resistance to fire and just like offer it to anyone.
He watches you do that and he says, "You understand, this is not sun's burn. This is 300 degrees."
Bubs kind of just he imagined just spraying anything on himself is like a cleaning thing. It's kind of like a meditative thing, so he's not listening.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Donna just kind of nods and goes, "Okay. So you're ready."
Aye, aye, Captain.
Good. He goes and he presses this little shower head, and you watch as these 4 low-intensity lasers ignite in the shower head and just cuts this perfect hole in the ventilation system. Right at the end, as it goes back, Donut reaches out and grabs it and just takes this big, roughly 2-foot space of the metal away. And there is now a hole that leads into the ventilation shaft.
I'll hold that for you, and I'm like gonna hold it for him.
Okay. He hands it over to you. It's pretty heavy, but no problem.
Yeah, I'm planning on putting it back as we're leaving.
Okay. So you grab onto it.
If I stick my head into the hole, can I see the beam of camera light or anything?
Make a perception check. You stick your head in.
Wow.
Yes, finally. 19 plus 13 is 32.
Okay. So, sticking your head in, this is roughly a 3-foot high ventilation shaft that runs a little bit out to the west and the east and then heads up. These shafts are square, and so 3 feet by 3 feet, and you can all fit, although nobody can really stand, even you.
It's a little hunchy.
Yeah. You're going to have to crawl.
Right.
Donut says, "In the places that go up, there are handholds for maintenance. Be careful, these get hot." You do not see with that roll camera beams or anything of that nature. And you would imagine, Gibbs, there are no cameras monitoring this ventilation system. It gets to 300 degrees every hour. So probably that wouldn't really be a need. There also isn't an access point necessarily to this. You guys just drilled through an entire city to get here. So you would imagine coming in this way, there probably will not be traps within the vents. However, with that, you do see all along the floor, such as it is, of this ventilation shaft, there are tiny elements of filament that seem to rise up through the floor, just points, and then go back. If you want, you can make a physical sciences check. Or actually, I would say an engineering check.
Can I point them out to one of my friends who's better at engineering, like Echo,
Yeah.
and be like,
Echo's not there. No, you're
Yeah,
back.
No, now we're all
You
there.
guys are all here.
and make it together, or can she make it?
Echo, you can make this if you would
Thank
like.
you.
Engineering check.
Now that I close my character sheet. Da, 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 da. 28.
Okay. These are heating coils. And the way that they are formed, this is probably what heats these ventilation systems. And so when this kicks in, it's probably only about 2 minutes before it goes from this ambient temperature and the air here warm. As you step forward, and Gibbs, when you first leaned in, your fur like curled a little bit. It's about 90 degrees in here. Dry heat. But you would imagine the temperature goes quite high quite quickly.
All right, 10 minutes. Here we go, and I'm gonna hoop my body over the hole and like.
Clank, clank.
Do we know for certain it's 10 minutes?
Yeah. Do we know?
Are you saying that?
Do we
yeah.
know for certain that it has been 10 minutes since the last
Yeah.
Oh,
cycle?
about.
Okay.
About.
Okay.
Okay. And I will.
I'm gonna set a timer for 7 minutes.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Are we going? Sorry, are we going up? We're trying to get up, or we're trying to. Which way are we trying to go? Okay.
You would imagine, since this is the 4th floor, looking at these maps, you're trying to get up to the 3rd. You probably want to go up.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we were.
So
No, this is
and there's
2D.
we can see
Okay.
up from where we are. You said I could see up like a path
From
upwards.
where you are, no, but like just going about 20 feet
Yeah.
either direction, you can see up.
Cool. So I start heading that way.
Okay. Everybody else following?
Are we climbing up?
Yeah.
You would imagine.
Once, like before Echo and Shade go in, Echo is going to say, if you are going to hack the systems for the heater, you might want to check if alarms will go off and alert anyone as to the heater's malfunction.
I'm hacking the cameras.
Just a thought.
As we're climbing up, Bob is going to remember from when we went into Chaz, the genetic solutions place on Deshaun, and I'm going to tie a rope around myself. And I think probably the least ability to climbing person would probably be Gibbs, so I'm going to tie a rope around her.
Okay.
What?
And then as
So you're right behind Gibbs.
Yeah, so if she falls and I'm like in the middle, I will be able to like at least either catch her or have her fall on the rope and just fall down.
Okay, cool.
as we're starting to get on the handholds, once everyone's like settled in,
Yep.
every handhold, I'm gonna give it a lick and cast token spell to keep them cool.
Nice.
Okay.
So I can alter an item in a 1 foot cube each round. So every 6 seconds,
Yeah.
I imagine it's licka as I'm going up, and I can cool them.
Okay. Now, again, not super hot yet. However, interestingly, as you all walk up, these ladder rungs instantly.
I'm
very-
jump jetting.
Okay. So we'll get to that in a second.
Once they're all
Yeah.
past, to just get
For the
up.
I
rest
have
of
my
you.
jetpack on, but I'm not going to jetpack.
For the rest of you, as you begin to climb up this very narrow space, as your hands touch these rungs, they are quite cool, and as a result, condensation instantly sticks to them. They get quite damp.
Oh, if I think that's gonna be dangerous, then I stop doing it.
Okay.
If the danger of me trying to make them comfortable is detrimental to our traversing, then I'm not gonna do that.
You do like one or two, and your feet begin to like slip a little bit, and you're like, "Oh, that's actually not such a cool thing to do," and so no problem. You guys slip a little bit as you go, but no problem. One by one, you make your way up this ladder. As you're going, is there anything that you're doing?
Jump jetting.
I'm looking for the.
Well, no, we're gonna get to you in a second because you're jump jetting.
Yeah.
Well,
wanna
yeah. Once
Sniff
everyone's
the air.
up.
Make a perception check.
Jump jetting's gonna be loud and echoey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, because it's
No,
like
it-
You're in a very enclosed metal corridor
And we've established they're loud before.
25.
25. Okay. With a 25, you sniff the air, and you can smell the scent of something quite stale and even warmer than this current place that is up above. And as you crest the top, Gibbs, you get up top first, and you can see more of this kind of long tunnel that branches off in two spaces to your left. It seems to be coming from that first turn, this warmer air. And so you'd imagine whatever heats these coils off in that direction. And if you wanted to disable that, that is the direction you would want to go. As you draw parallel to it, it is quite a long corridor. Passing it a little bit, that next turn, maybe 3 feet further down, a little cooler. And there seems to be more openings coming away from this.
We want the way towards the big fan, which has heating coils on it, next to it. And since I
You
imagine
have to go up to here, I think, to get to that. Right?
But again, this isn't accurate, right?
Right, but
So using our senses, thinking about what my newfound friend told us, I think the hotter we get, the closer we are, because I think that's where it originates, where the fan would like push the air to.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start angling towards the hottest parts.
Okay. So Spice tells you about these temperature changes. And following Spice's advice, you, in the lead, Gibbs, scrunch your way down. Bubs, you have to follow because the rope goes taut and you kind of are pulled along almost. One by one, you're able to round the corner and clear. Shade, you're left alone at the bottom. So you...
Are you with me, or did you go
Echo
with
would
them?
have followed up behind Spice.
All right, cool. I know this isn't accurate, but there's an up. Is there a forward here?
No. So
Okay.
this, you
So
enter
it's
in
just-
and it goes out like this. This was probably like a heat sink at one point.
Right.
And so you entered into the bottom and now it goes up either way.
Or like the exhaust vents, or not
Sort
the,
of.
but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is like a side chamber meant to regulate pressure should
Okay.
it become overpressurized.
Gotcha. Okay. And I'm gonna make
problem.
my way up.
So go ahead, roll a 20-sided die.
14.
14, okay. So behind you, as you quietly shuffle, every now and then the metal dum, kind of like bending and echoing. Suddenly there is a there's echoes through this whole place. And as Shade
Grab it.
slams into this area. This is a 3 foot wide by a 3 foot really narrow chamber, and it doesn't get higher, it just 90 degrees. And so using jump jets to get to the top, there's only really so much control that you're able to generate while actually reaching the top. This is kind of like those miniature golf courses where the hole is in like the top of a hill. You have to hit it just hard enough to get to the top, but not too hard to go over. If you go over, you slam your head into the top. If you go
I
under,
would've
you have to
not done
land
that.
dropping
I know.
20 feet. So
Echo looks down and just like eyes narrow.
Had I known that, I
Gibbs
would not
shoots
have done
daggers.
that.
We literally all were warning you about
we
it.
gave you many warnings, Mike.
Yeah.
So you rock it up. Clang, 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 clang. Shade slams in, and you are now all on the same level.
Heading towards the hot, and I'm like rationalizing out loud. So if anyone disagrees with heading towards the hot, I will.
Pinging for the hackable
Cameras.
Make a computer
the
check.
camera. I don't know what the console or
Yeah, make a computer
I
check.
don't know if it's a console here.
Bing,
Conduit.
bing, bing.
It's 18 plus, I think, like 6. 33.
Okay. A 33. With a 33, as you ping echo through this whole area, there are several little like electronic components that you can kind of pick up on that are not terribly important. Things like pressure sensors, things that are very minor that connect over larger networks that you can't quite reach. But as you go and you begin to turn around and you can hear the echoes of Gibbs saying, well, I'm going to follow the hot stuff, and just like beginning to rationalize, you ding, and far off down the other passageway, maybe 100 feet down, or you can only go about 60 feet. So you have to get pretty far down before 60 feet away, you hear this ding, maybe 30 feet separating you of just straight earth, perhaps, and then in the other corridor, this computer system seems to be. However, with 60 feet of range, you can still reach it.
Spice is going to reach up to Shade and hand over the computer glitch thing that we found inside the worm.
I have it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
You reach into Echo's pocket and,
Yes.
and then reach it over to Shane.
Sorry.
So I only have 20 feet on wireless hack right now.
In that case, you do get the sense that it's there beyond your reach to hack. You would need to go into that other corridor.
Can I get there without, like, you said there's 30 feet in between right now? Of
Shade, the
just
electronics in your brain just whir into overdrive, and you wish you had a cigarette as this exocortex begins to search. And as you think about the distances here, it's taking you roughly a minute to crawl, about 50 feet. You have, in your timer, about 6 minutes left. You have about 350 feet to cover. That should take you 7 minutes. Looking at your friends, they're all going to make it. You're right at the end. And so it'll be pretty tough to do unless you can think of some way of traversing an additional 160 feet in that time.
Slingshot somehow.
You haven't gone to the end of this corridor, and in the darkness, not even Gibbs can really see where it ends. There is the chance that it reconnects to this shaft, but that's a chance.
What's the probability of that versus me not getting burned alive? If I just go towards
You
where I
can
need
reach that, and this reconnects to this shaft, 100%. If it doesn't, you die 100%.
Oh.
Gibbs, you continue to crawl forwards. You can see this darkness, maybe 60 feet ahead, continues on.
I'm having trouble visualizing, and I don't want to make a decision where I'm going to just flat out die for making the wrong choice here.
So imagine this. Imagine a tuning fork.
Yeah.
You walked up the central
Up
prong.
the central one.
Then it goes like this, and then there's two more up.
One of them has the computer terminal.
Correct. Just imagine that the tuning prong is like this. And so, yeah, one of those has the heat sense that Gibbs is going towards.
Okay.
The parallel one, the separated by maybe like 6 feet of earth, seems to be where this terminal will be located. And so you would need to be in that one to even reach where that terminal is.
Okay.
And Gibbs is also not entirely sure that her path is.
And you can hear that too.
Yeah, like I'm like, well, I'm gonna go towards the heat because that seems to be where the big fan would be to push all the heat into
As
the
this is
thing.
happening, Bubs is just gonna have like a fist really heavy ready in case he has to punch downwards.
Okay.
Are
to
our
make an
comms working?
You trying them?
Yeah. I'm going to
Okay.
comm and be like, I'm going this way.
Okay. You all
to
hear this.
We need to shut off the computers.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
You should keep going. I
Keep
might
going this
die.
way.
And then I go.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone else heard that part, but I just said that. So
No problem. So, Shade, you continue past the first turn, and you take the second.
and I'm going as quickly as I can
With
so
my
that I can hopefully not burn to death.
Are you doing anything to go quicker in terms of like gear or skills?
Can I treat myself as a ground vehicle?
You cannot.
You pop
So
out your
I
heelys
have
in your
a
hands.
base movement of 40
Yeah.
feet. So I guess
You could jump
just-
just sideways.
I can't sprint either because it's too small, right?
It's too small. 3 feet wide, 3 feet tall. You can. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could try to sprint on your hands and knees. Not only will that look hilarious, that
Probably not going to do much.
It'll hurt, and that will do something. It's also. I mean, you're gonna run into a problem where that takes a lot of energy. Doing that for 350 feet, if this reconnects, would be tough.
I don't know. I don't have anything else that I
Okay.
can do.
So it's horizontal, right?
Yeah.
So what if we had some kind of oil or grease, so in case an explosion does happen, we can use it as a shield to just propel us forward?
But if we're stuck here and it turns to
That's some
more
cartoon
combustible.
logic right there.
Well, not like oil in the
From
way
a
of like
physics
gasoline.
standpoint,
It's a
what
wild
Olive
code.
is saying is not wrong.
Really?
Technically, it will
ball.
cause an explosion,
It's like a
and so most of all of you will eventually get propelled forwards. It's just in various pieces.
Yeah, it's still the car. It's technically correct, but it's still cartoon logic.
Yes, your mass will move.
And also, like, we know that this thing's gonna get hot. So I will just rolling my eyes, let Shade go the way he wants to go, but I'm gonna track
It's not.
I can
where
track his
want to go,
distance
it's where
from
we have to
Yeah.
go to
me,
Have-
always.
the thing that we need to do.
Gibbs.
So I'm gonna try and, like, find, going forward,
Don't wanna
the
do
path in
anything.
which it meets.
Okay.
And that's my goal now.
You crawl.
I have to go with Gibbs.
You crawl through the darkness.
Spice is
Hope I
going
don't
to.
die.
Ah, never mind.
minute
I have my
passes.
flashlight open as well.
Okay. Your flashlight turns on.
Oh.
This big beam, and you can see there is little
flashlight
elements
too.
of dust that are being like blown past you. But no problem. You move forwards. You don't see any tunnels for the first minute. You continue forwards for the second. Shade, from where you are, there are no off-shot tunnels, and you do begin to feel both of your groups. It get warmer. At first, it's very subtle. It goes from 90 degrees to maybe 95, but pretty soon it's getting uncomfortably hot in here. And the floors, such as they are beginning to get very warm. You'd imagine.
I use my sweat to use Olive's logic to propel myself on the floor, because now I'm slightly wetter.
As I'm walking
Androids don't
on
sweat.
these vents, I want to just do like a passive perception to see if I can tell which vents that I'm going over are like hollow and which might be resting on like a wooden beam.
You have yet to see a vent. You have only been traveling
I
through these.
meant like the metal structure of the vent that we're crawling
I
through.
got you.
As I'm walking one, if I see one that seems more like hollow and one that seems like more like it's resting on like
Sure, make a
two-by-four.
perception check. No problem.
Because if I want to, okay. If I want to,
gone.
if I want to dig through something, I want to make sure I'm not punching through something.
Yeah, for sure.
That's an 11 plus 9, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Every now and then your knee hits the bottom of this metal kind of floor, and there's a dong as it kind of pops out a little bit. And you would
Okay.
imagine there are areas here where it's hollow, but not so much that it's like it's a cavern like Minecraft style. This is more like when the foundation was laid and these were placed out. There's a little extra room between. Probably not enough for you to squeeze in, but you can't really tell. There's certainly space between the structure and the stone. How much depends on where you are.
Okay.
Gibbs. It's very easy to tell where Shade is because he never moves more than 6 feet away.
Nice.
This shaft runs perfectly parallel.
Beautiful. I think about the tunnels that the Isoki built, and I'm like, man, does art imitate life?
Shade, after the first 3 minutes, it is getting incredibly hot. For you, more so than the other group. And this is because as the minutes kind of tick down to the 2-minute mark, you can see slowly this orange glow begin to rise.
I found
And
the
then
heater.
in front of you, after a little bit, with no more than a minute and a half left to go, you can see this heater. Huge. This cylinder that is black, and you can see there are these slits of probably not glass, something stronger than glass, but through it you can see there's plasma swirling inside. Almost like a reactor that has been repurposed to heat this place. And it is, you can hear the hum of it rising. Cool. And it is growing hotter. And at this point, ding, beneath you, by 20 feet, there is a sensor for this computer node.
I'm hacking it.
Make a computer's check. For the rest of you, suddenly, as you're getting closer and closer, you begin to hear the sound of a fan. And before too long, you emerge with no other connections to this tunnel into this large chamber that has a huge fan that just is speeding up now. Quite quickly, actually. Give me 1 second here.
Can you tell me a little bit about the climate control thing that we found in the worm?
Climate control.
Yeah.
Remind me of what that
Oh,
was.
that's the weather thing. It tells us what the weather's like within a certain radius.
Oh, that's what
It just goes
wrote down
hot.
climate
It is
control.
hot.
Okay,
hot.
never mind.
It is
The
hot.
fan.
the potato on a
we
rock.
think we drop through the fan. We're gonna enter here.
That's the end.
Alright.
I thought I was on something.
I got a
there.
31 on the computer's check.
Weather.
Okay. So, Shade, as the heat begins to rise and little warnings now in your body begin to go off, you get a little bit closer and you lean down against the floor and putting your hand against it, the exocortex spins and uses the metal almost to amplify the signal, and you are able to access this computer. There are sensors attached to this. You immediately recognize there are 3 nodes initially. The first one controls this the cameras themselves, and so if you want, you can make another check to loop these.
Well, I want to make sure, that it's not a
The
false
second
shell.
node, okay.
And
With that check, that's high enough to know that it's not a false shell,
Okay.
unless this is a computer that is sophisticated beyond not only anything you've ever seen, but anything you've ever even heard of.
But it's also just like
A ventilation system and cameras, yeah. So accessing these cameras, you imagine there is not a false shell. There is a password that protects these, what seem to be additional security measures, and that is locked off to you at this moment. The third thing is old footage. It's getting hot.
old footage of the cameras.
Yeah,
Okay.
archive footage.
Okay, so it's like their cloud storage or whatever,
Sort.
essentially. Okay, I'm gonna set it on loop and get the fuck out of there.
Okay, no problem. Make a computers check. For all of you, as you see this fan in front of you, you recognize that there is nowhere for Shade to go. He's going to have to travel backwards through that entire tunnel, and it is about a minute from kicking up to 300 degrees.
Can we get on? I'm gonna get on my.
Shade is 6 feet through this, and
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Gibbs,
tunnel.
as you guys get to this fan, there is a moment where you can kind of like put your hand up on the stone, and Shade is only 6 feet away from you, but to go back and get to you is about 700 feet.
And the 6 feet is of pure earth, or is like
Little thin sheet of metal,
Right.
and then Bubs, as you
Yeah.
like lean on it, clang, there's a little bit of space before there's earth.
As Bubs has been passively trying to find one that's like a little bit hollow as he's
Yeah.
been doing it. Imagine like kind of like when you're building like a frame for a wall, it's every 6 inches or so where you put like a stud or something like that. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna communicate to Shade like, Shade, I think we're gonna have to break on through and get you out.
50 seconds.
And
Yeah.
as I do that, I'm going to on the planet of we fought Harlax. I got this drill,
40 seconds.
and I'm going to drill down into the ground with it.
I'm gonna
Okay.
gunk up the fan because I know it's gonna get faster.
Okay.
So my plan is to gunk it up so when he does break through, we have a little bit of a luxury of time to get us through the fan blades.
Mysticism check. What are you doing?
I also have a drill.
Okay.
And an inferno knife, so I'm gonna take both hands. I'm pushing with my left hand the drill with the bits into the wall to help Bubbles, and then stabbing the stone also with
Mine's
the
for
other hand.
drilling through holes. It's a
Okay.
lot bigger.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm helping.
This is a Dremel.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
mine's like
The
a
nail file.
yeah.
Mr. Muscles here.
Both of you make engineering checks, please.
Echo gets ready to drag the shade through.
Okay.
23 to gunk up the shit.
Okay.
The fan.
So this fan is beginning to get faster and faster. The temperature is rising now. It's probably about 120 degrees, and for all of you who do sweat, you are now doing so quite badly.
But I make sure to angle all of my sweat into the mechanics of this fan.
And as it kind of drips and drips and drips, it almost runs into a tiny little river, just like a hair length wide. But as it sinks down into the fan does crack and pop, and it does for a moment begin to slow. What was your check?
A 2.
A 2.
8.
An 8.
I'm dead.
So there is this as you begin to drill in, and you can see elements, but the metal seems to be a little bit stronger, or like maybe it's just the angle of this
Bubs is
metal.
gonna
is
give up
not
on the
really
drill
going
and he's starting to
through.
get frantic. He's like, no, Shade,
30
no.
seconds.
He's gonna just throw it aside and he's gonna start punching right on the ground, straight through as hard as
Okay,
he
make
can.
an athletics check.
Can I overload the like, is the furnace itself just like a mechanical furnace?
It's a little bit more complex than that,
10.
but it's furnace.
Is it something that I can
10.
use my overload on to short it for a turn to get an extra 6 seconds?
It'll get you 50 more feet. But yes, you imagine you could. From this range, if you're not going to move any more, yes, you could. That's going to buy you 6 seconds, and then you're going to have to move away from where your friends are trying to rescue you. So 30 seconds, you slam into this, and the metal bends out. 30 seconds. It is unsuccessful. The metal bends a little bit. You can see an area that breaks and some rock kind of crumbles through.
Do I hear this happening
Yes,
in the
certainly.
hall? Can I use the gravity gun to try to force from my side a hole?
You take out the gravity gun and firing it, you back into the
Well, I would have
it's not really
braced
like
myself against
it's
it.
not enough to do damage, and so it's not enough to punch through.
Okay.
25 seconds.
Can I try again?
Gravity
Go for
gun
it.
yourself around the U.
Is anybody else doing anything?
Yeah, Spice is also
that?
gonna
With
hammer
my
the
engineering
wall.
glass.
check.
My glass cutter wouldn't work on the metal, right?
At this point, with 20 seconds left, you could try it if you want.
Guess that's all I got.
You take out the glass cutter, this very, very narrow sort of like element that is designed to cut through glass. Make an
Why
engineering check.
engineering?
I got another 10.
Another 10.
I'm gonna put my head against the wall, kind of adjacent to the wall that they're trying to dig
25.
through. And I'm going to reach out my consciousness and just prepare for the moment of which the room turns to 300 degrees and do everything in my power to keep us both alive and surviving this.
Okay.
17 for my engineering.
25.
Okay. And for engineering, what are you doing?
Echo is going to look for a weak point in the metal wall,
Okay.
and kind of like grab the Inferno blade from Spice and like just
Okay.
to try and buckle it.
With that check, you can see the area where, as Bubs is just slamming and now almost panicking, no longer doing it in like a smart way, really just like slamming on it with his
he's
fist.
given up, so he's
Yeah.
like, fuck this, I need to start
There
punching.
is like a hole that is rented in the way that when you bend a can, it kind of creates a tiny little point, and you take the tip of the knife, and as you activate the edge and it flares to life, it almost melts straight down through, and you cut through. Bubs, your next slam bends the metal out, and you can see the stone beyond.
He's going to say,
Make an athletics check. 10 seconds left.
15,
15.
plus 5, 20, dirty 20.
Suddenly, as you take the little glass cutter and you begin to spin it, and it on the metal and doesn't really do anything.
I'm like,
Suddenly, it
I'm
just
getting out a cigarette.
out
Thinking
your
I'm gonna
hand.
die.
You pull out the cigarette. It is like 130 degrees. Where you are touching, the metal or the rubber is beginning to melt onto the actual metal. But suddenly you can see the metal shakes. And you can hear the sound of stones hitting the outside. You're close. You only have about 5 seconds before this kicks on.
Quick,
You
go
have
down.
one
And
more
I'm
thing
going
to
to
do.
ask Echo and Spice to
st-
go down.
Am I within
To get all
range
of
of
us
the
out.
thing to overload
Like through
it?
the
Yeah.
fan?
Yeah.
I'm gonna overload it.
Make
now.
an important computers check.
Bubs is going to...
So
Well,
you're... Hang on.
It
Pause.
just
Yeah.
it is just it happens. It just
Okay.
overloads it for one turn.
So you overload it. Suddenly, the fan that you see begins to grind a little bit. The temperature suddenly stops rising and just sticks. It is hot, and for all of you, it is getting to the point where if you touch the metal, your skin will burn. But it seems to freeze for just a moment, and that gives you the chance to do two things. So what two things are you going to do to get through these 3 feet of rock, keeping in mind you are all then going to have to dive through a fan that is spinning quite quickly?
Do I have enough time to communicate something?
Yes. Kind of like over the course of all of this, yes.
Like through the comms?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you have breach charges?
They take like a minute to set up though. That's why I haven't been using them.
Yeah.
So thinking
Otherwise, I would've done
logically, I can save one person. And so if all of us let one person die and we can recover Shade's body, it's a little easier.
He just needs to get into the hole.
No, it doesn't matter.
Oh.
I mean, because again, then we have 10 minutes to get his body and resect. So I am going to turn my back on Shade and drop through the fan.
Well, we get to do two things.
So you guys watch as Gibbs just goes through, and Gibbs, make a reflex saving throw as the fan is still moving.
Nice. 21.
21. You time it just right. You look, and just through the rock, only 6 feet away from you, you feel Shade. And you can feel the temperature rise, and you can hear tss, the sizzle as your sweat drips down. But you leave Shade behind, and you
Bubs
drop down through the
Gonna
fan.
follow through.
Okay, Bubs, doing the exact same thing, doing nothing to help. You just drop through. Echo and Spice, the two of you are left alone. You have two things to do. What would you like to do?
I just gave that.
Spice is
Oh,
going
yeah, that's a good point,
to-
actually.
Well,
Ooh. Make a reflex saving throw and take a -6 conditional modifier, as you really cannot control how fast you fall through this fan.
Oh my god. Maybe
Can I-
the rope gets cut.
Can I just punch down with my hammer as I go through it?
Wouldn't the
The
rope
fan?
get
Yeah.
cut
But
when
we're trying to be sneaky here.
when Gibbs goes through? Wouldn't the rope get cut?
gonna die!
And Bubs wouldn't necessarily fall through.
It's more that, so with the distance to fall down,
Oh, he's already over the
yeah,
edge.
exactly.
That's a 9 plus
Unfortunate.
6, which would be 15.
9 plus 6 is a 15. Ooh, okay. Meets it, beats it. You just barely. So, Gibbs, you go over, just taking this dramatic moment to drop through, and you are slamming away. You get dragged and slam onto the metal, and then
Yeah.
down. And as you go through, the blades just. You watch as the rope falling towards it, and you pass through the blades like this split second before slamming into the metal right next to
Bubs had
Gibbs.
hair, give him a haircut.
Yeah, absolutely. But no problem. So, Echo and Spice, the two of you, what are you doing? You have 5 seconds left.
So Spice is going to shoot the hole with a shot of her hand cannon
Okay.
and try to shoot it because it's supposed to be powerful enough to like knock people over.
Yeah.
And then that's gonna be her first action. She's gonna yell out, "Shade will come back for you," and then jump down.
Okay. At this range, it is almost impossible to miss with a firearm, and there's a place where you can put the like muzzle up against the stone and fire. And as you do in this like roll a d20 and just don't roll a 1.
It's been
Why
low
Did
rolls.
you curse us?
What an awful DM thing to say.
Why did
It
you?
wasn't a 1. It wasn't a 1.
So you pull the gun out and you level this, and Shade, through the stone and the little thin element of metal with a tiny scratch on it from your glass cutter, you just hear before all of a sudden there is a as these gunshot goes straight through the metal and lodges itself into the metal next to you. And through it, you can actually see this thin tunnel and Spice.
And she's going to give you a stare for like not even a half a second, a millisecond before she jumps down.
Okay.
Can I get through, or is it small?
It's
too
like
small?
I would say like as the stone begins to crack away, it's like this. Again, you have 2 things that you can do.
Oh, I can do 2 things too?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is all happening
Echo
simultaneously.
has
Cool.
2 things.
Echo has 1 thing left.
Oh,
Cool. I guess if it's large enough, then at that point, could I try to like peel it open?
Make an athletics check. Echo, you have a last thing that you want to do, or do you want to drop down through the fan more safely?
24.
Okay.
Do I have to choose now, or can I wait until I see what Matt does?
Got to choose now. It's all happening at the same time.
Fine. Echo would probably like see the hole blast open, and just like kind of look at Shade and just say, "For the mission," and then jump down.
so cool.
And so in this last moment, you see the blue eyes of Echo in this dark space, and you can hear the begin to whip up. And then Echo just says this, drops off the back. Make a reflex saving throw.
Bub's the only one who was like, Shade! As he was like pushed.
And Shade, as this happens, you explode through this hole. Using elements of the jump jets, finally in a place where they really do make sense, you do almost slam into this
I feel
cavern.
like I would like put my feet on the back wall and kind of push off through the little hole.
Make an
Try and
athletics
break through.
check again, and this is as you go. The heat, all these heating coils glow this cherry red and begin to get like lighter and lighter as the heat rises.
16.
16? Okay. You take 12 points of fire damage as you land right on the edge, and your skin, the synthetic elements of it, stick to the metal. And as you pull away, there are just gleaming bits of mechanisms that are exposed now for the first time in a long time. But you dive out, and as you do, make a reflex saving throw. As this is a -6 conditional modifier, as very similarly to Bubs, you have no real control. You're
Is
just
this to
flying.
be, does this count as being knocked prone?
Technically, yes.
Cool.
Nice. 17 for Echo.
17 for Echo. Okay.
That's 22 plus the conditional 2, so 24.
Okay, you needed a 20. Echo, unfortunately,
Do I get chopped to bits?
you don't get chopped to bits. That's
Do
a
I get
strong
chopped to
term.
large chunks?
Clang as it hits your
You
body.
get chopped into 2 specifically. You are bisected.
No, but I roll almost max damage. So you take 27 points
Oh!
of slicing damage.
God.
As right as you drop through, you go for the mission and dropping down. In your mind, this is going to look cool as shit. And right as you're about to pass through it, you watch, you can see the element coming towards you where the groove of the fan blade slides along. And as you go, there's a moment where you recognize, I am not going to. And one of your feet removed from your body. Clank, 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 kind of hits next to you, but you land.
I wish he had
patch
had
that
a
up.
crutch. I asked for a crutch. He didn't have a crutch.
That's so funny. I
He
can't
didn't
believe
have a
that.
crutch.
What was your
Wow.
So you plummet right down through, not hitting the fan, going through right after Echo, past the foot, and slam into that. It's Echo Shade foot.
Descent thrusters.
Echo foot Shade. No problem. You land. And Shade, still kind of bubbling in areas, all of you now find yourselves beneath the heated coils. And though it is still about 100 degrees here, the floor is not heated. And that is the important part.
Attach the foot. Attach the foot.
It's more of an engineering
Do we can
thing,
like
I think.
staple it? Is that what a dermal stapler is for? Can we staple
Echo,
a
you
foot
on the
back
ground now,
together?
you watch as Gibbs picks your foot up and is now kind of just jamming it.
First, I put it backwards. I'm like, nah, that's not right.
Echo kind of like malfunctioning a little bit. Looks over at Shade, kind of smiles,
Bubs is
knowing that for the mission would probably galvanize something in him.
Nah, not really.
Bubs is gonna run over
Other
to
things
Shade
have,
and
but
be
not
like,
that.
Looking like, oh my god, are you okay? Are you alright? And he's gonna touch you.
Fine.
Spice just flicks a
Echo.
cigarette his way.
I think I still have one probably like in my mouth.
It's
that,
burnt.
Yeah, it's probably burnt.
Singed.
So, like,
Can I
throw it
attach the
down,
foot?
Take the other one.
Are you going to allow Gibbs to attach this foot?
That's more of an engineering.
This is an engineering check.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take the foot from Gibbs and try to reattach
Can I
it
help?
for.
So Gibbs,
Echo
you're there and you're like
and
just sticking the foot on, and Echo, you can take one more point of damage as Gibbs is just jamming the foot in.
Oh,
And
I
then-
would have tried to.
And then
yeah.
Shade comes in and goes, oh, and like goes in, make an engineering check. You heal 1 point of damage as you take like this like little shard of metal out of the organic parts that Gibbs had
22.
kind of jammed in. And just because it will stick into a place doesn't mean it goes there. You pull it out.
That's
And
what she said.
You begin to slowly attach it, and over the course of about 2 minutes, and you hear the fan begin to whir down, you're able to reattach the foot. You don't heal any additional damage, and you would imagine there is the chance that this may malfunction in the future until
your
you
ankle is
This
until you
is,
permanently fix it.
Just a quick patch for now.
I haven't
yeah.
seen Shade be hurt now.
Field
Echo.
patch.
Oh, Echo, are you okay? Are you like okay to walk and like do other things?
In front of you, there are 3 of these passageways, these metal corridors that seem to lead about 10 feet forward and then end. Although they don't quite end. There is, for the first time, Bubs, a grate at the end of each. And you would imagine, similar to Rita's map, these each drop down into one of these solitary confinement cells. This is where you could enter the prison proper.
Knowing that we made a shit ton of noise, can I take a quick moment and lean my ear against the corridor and see if there's like alarms going off or people talking or
Make a
like,
perception.
Also, as this is happening, can we just get a quick time check to see when the echo explosions would happen?
Yeah.
It's
So
only been like
7.5 minutes have
Yeah,
passed.
28 on perception.
so there's like
It's 112.
50. Yeah,
112. So you set them for 2.
yeah, a little under 50 minutes.
All right.
Oh,
What was that?
28.
28. With the 28, you listen and you listen hard. You don't hear a single thing. Not a single thing. You don't hear voices. You don't hear footsteps. You don't hear anything mechanical.
Can I see if I smell people beyond? Like,
With that,
With that quiet, it being that quiet, my concern is that we're gonna burst into this and the prison's already empty.
Because the plan that
it doesn't smell like there are people immediately beyond. However, as you sniff down the corridor and you look, you can just see, because it's only about 10 feet into the slits of the vent, and what is beyond is literally a solitary confinement cell. So maybe 2 feet long, about 6 feet tall, and about 2 feet wide. You couldn't sit in this space. You would have to stand. This is
torture.
probably more for like punishment.
Yeah.
And
Somebody in it?
so there is nobody in this one.
Or any of them?
You can't really see. You'd have to go into each one, but one by one, as you poke your head down, they all seem empty.
Can
And so
Spi-
perhaps it is that there is nobody in them right now.
Yeah. They're got punishment there.
the coolers.
Guys, let's keep going. We're wasting time. We can't check every punishment cell. We gotta just go.
Spice is gonna usher.
Yeah.
We
Alright.
need to figure out how to unlock the cage.
There's a security sensor here too, so that we need to not trip.
So we're in this part of the map, right?
We're entering here.
Okay, so if we're there, Spice is going to stop, close her eyes, hold her antennas, and reach out her mind to see if she can hear or feel Mari's presence.
Okay.
If it's within 60 feet.
From where you are, you don't feel any presences. And that almost confirms what Gibbs seems to be sensing. It's like this floor seems to be empty.
Okay. Okay.
And her stuff stretches to where this is.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so it's too
Certainly.
far?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Because,
Gotcha.
yeah, and so again, not drawn in any way, shape, or form
Okay.
to scale.
Gotcha.
There are 3 cells, and they lead to a room beyond. But you don't really know how far any of this is. But certainly further than 60 feet, it would seem.
From the cells, like above the cells,
Yeah.
would they have control panels at the door or at the, I guess the doors, but at the like the locked doors here that I could hack into?
Make a perception check.
Smart. Good like that. I like that.
You do get the sense, reaching out, there is no computer there.
Perception 16.
With a perception of 16, hard to tell from up here and at this angle and through those thin slats. You need to go down to really check.
I'll go down.
Okay.
I'm gonna see him. Can I see him about to go down?
Taking note of the sensors though, because I imagine there are probably sensors within the
So?
the cells as well as this room here.
You didn't see any, but no problem.
Bubs
Be
is
cautious.
seeing Shade do this. He's gonna untie the rope from Gibbs and offer it to Shade, and like,
Maybe I could just like lower you just a little bit.
It's like a what?
6 feet.
oh, okay. I thought it was way higher. Okay, never mind.
Not
I didn't do
yeah.
This
I thought
is
these were,
God, I'm afraid of heights.
I
I'm
thought this
like,
was, tall, like.
I think I'll
no.
manage.
This is like a urinal, like
You lower yourself.
Yeah, no,
body.
I imagine it was like confined, like width-wise,
The
not height.
subthrusters.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. You drop down. Getting closer to this door. You don't see any computer components. You don't see a lock on this side, although you would imagine there is probably a lock. Looking around, there doesn't seem to be any sensors. It's kind of dirty here, but no sensors that you can see.
Oh, the big question is how to open the doors.
Yeah.
Would there be? That's what I'm working on. Would there be like a mechanical element, like within the wall? There's probably some sort of locking mechanism that's holding the door shut.
That would make sense.
I'm trying to figure out if there's a way that I can like enter that part from this side by like, you know, opening up a panel in the wall to
Weirdly,
manipulate-
this maximum security prison doesn't seem to have panels on the
not a
inside of
panel,
the
but you
cell.
know, like
The way that this is formed, you can see the walls almost sheer metal, and they are welded at the edges. And so, in theory, that would be loud.
right.
The door where it meets the frame, and there is no frame necessarily, it's like part of the wall, so integrated. And with integrated designs like that, you do know that there typically is both a mechanical lock and an electromagnetic one. Because you can't sense the computer, whatever controls it, a little further away, probably at some kind of a control station. If you had a way to demagnetize this lock, that would get you part of the way there.
No.
Demagnetize?
I have the signal jammer, right? Or we have the signal jammer, but that wouldn't do it.
can you? Okay. It's electromagnetic. You say that out loud. I assume you say something out loud. Could you overload
No,
it?
You can't just assume in D&D like that.
Can I look at it?
Yeah. Go ahead and make a perception check.
19.
A 19. You drop down into one of the other 2 rooms that is currently unoccupied by shade, and looking around, you can see the same thing: welded walls, doors. There's a single door frame, and as you get closer to it and you kind of put your cheek up against it, there is a little bit of a hum similar to a refrigerator, and so you'd imagine maybe some kind of an electronic component.
Cool. So I'm thinking overload electronics with electronics. So I want to find something on my person that is electrified.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything?
Wait, hold on. So you need something that's electrified?
Yeah, and I'm thinking and I'm saying out loud, like that plasma guy, when we open that door.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, you got.
I have the tape. Do you say this out loud?
Yeah.
And I give her the tape.
Okay.
Can I, now that I'm in the cell, is it like bars in front of me? Is it like a glass panel?
Sheer metal door.
So you can't see through.
Right.
Okay. There isn't even like a little hatch or anything?
This is what people call the box.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is kind of like the cool.
Spice is moving her psychokinetic hand. Can she move it through it? She's just testing.
No.
And I have the holographic hockey puck from the stairwell.
Mm-hmm.
I want to electrify the tape to overload the door.
So this is also using the electrostatic tape?
Yes.
Not in the same one that I'm in, right?
No.
No, it's a
Okay,
different
good.
one.
Make an engineering check.
And when you
You're doing engineering. I don't know what you want me to tell
when you
you.
electrify the tape, it does become hard. It's still metal,
Yeah.
but it becomes hard.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I'm a fucking rat with a screwdriver right
know,
now.
just
Leave me
read-
alone.
just
I don't
read
know what
the
I'm
text of
doing.
the thing.
I have a goal. The goal is an 11.
Okay. So you put this tape across the lock, and you take the little hockey puck, you take the battery cell, and you kind of do your best to wire it together. And you turn the hockey puck on. There's like a spark, and there's like a visible spark. A little bit of smoke comes up, and you can see this tape rigid. You don't feel that hum anymore, and so you have disabled the electromagnetic component.
And then
You have fused the door shut.
Yeah.
With the-
Second way. Because this
Fused the
tape
door.
becomes like
No,
a
so-
solid.
If you,
putting the tape as a handle on the door,
I think you do know from just out of
and if I
character.
touch it, doesn't it
If-
undo it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you know this from the second game in the Oris Bay lab that if you touch it again with electricity, it undoes it. Because we did that.
Okay, I'm hoping it doesn't kick the door back on.
Maybe.
There's like a little bit of smoke
Short of
coming
the-
from this lock. It's
Yeah.
probably not. What are you using for power?
Static electricity!
God.
Guys, I'm a rat with a
That
screwdriver!
doesn't seem to be enough to power like an electronic device, and so probably not enough to get this effect.
I don't have that much that's electronic on me. I had one thing.
Anybody else doing anything
One
at
of
this
your
time?
weapons probably
Can
has
I
electric damage.
hear all of this happening?
Yes.
I would throw a fucking power cell over to and be like,
Alright, and then. I'm gonna bite into it,
Oh,
put my
don't do
finger in
that.
the
Wow,
thing,
that sounds.
Make a
and
fortitude
use my
saving throw.
body as the conductor.
Yeah, make a fortitude saving throw.
Wait.
Because it doesn't have a plug. It doesn't have a
I'm
plug.
so glad that rope isn't conductive of electricity
Yeah.
right now.
You're not tied to Gibbs anymore.
Oh, thank
plus it
God.
has copper
What'd you
wire
want?
through
A
it.
fortitude save?
Yeah.
Great. 14.
A 14.
Yeah, it's just a copper
Okay,
wire.
Like a decorative rope.
You bite into this, and the electrical charge that goes through you, it's like this 1 in a million chance where all of your atoms line up in such a way, and the iron in your blood lands in such a way that it doesn't burn a core straight through you. You take 1 point of electrical damage.
Nice.
Your hair all
take
sparks out. But in this moment, the tape becomes like a little ribbon and slithers down. And you now have a reduced DC door lock. There's no electronic component. It is just the mechanical lock itself.
Hey, I got rid of the doors.
All of you suddenly, as you hear Gibbs begin to whisper, you hear and smell singed hair. It's that very unique, very unpleasant smell.
And I just look up to you, and you can see my hair.
Yeah.
Guys. Does somebody want to pick this lock, or should I just use my fingernails?
Echo, like, drags themselves forward and, like, probably crumples down, like, very ungracefully. They're feeling terrible.
You almost bend like this, and so it's. And,
And I,
Like
wedge.
hear the knees bending.
Yeah.
I help her lower to herself.
Okay, no problem.
Ankle's a little loose.
Echo, how hurt are you?
Echo's, like, super bloody.
The light in the eyes, like sparking.
and I catch you and then just give you like a quick little on the nose, and I will spend a resolve point to give you 4d8 worth of healing. 1, 7, 8. Plus 8, so 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 5 is...
Wow, that's real good.
16 plus 5 is...
21.
21. You get 21 back. Is that enough or no?
Damn.
Not to full, but
That's a really
close.
good roll.
Well, I got more resolve points to spend if you want.
We're not even halfway. Well, we're
Yeah,
a little bit
hold
halfway.
on to
We
those.
So
haven't seen.
as you are like wedged into this space, Gibbs kind of catches you. It's more like your body is now wedged in, but it's now sort of in Gibbs's arm, and Gibbs just gives you a little kiss. All this like really, really spiky, slimy rat hair drags across your face in the process, and this little kiss suddenly. You feel so much better. It's like the kiss unlocks various muscles in your body that were all tensing up, and
What else does it unlock, Echo? Tell me more.
but you now look
There's a
and
canon
Getting
sexuality for
hot in
Echo.
as you are kind of wedged down like this between both of your legs, although one now missing a foot, you can see or damaged foot.
Not missing. It's on again.
It's on. It's like a little angled.
It's just like patched.
Yeah.
Pretty poor.
It's on.
You can see this door.
Can you help me?
Field repairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get you to the body shop.
And Echo looks at the door to see what they can do to help unlock it.
Okay. So, this is a door that looks like it's mostly like flat metal, and so you would imagine, thinking about how you might unlock it, you could, in theory, pick this lock. It would be really hard. You could force it open. You could attempt to, engineer some way of prying it open with mechanical advantage.
Can we use the Inferno knife to cut through the metal? Or do you want to figure out what you're doing?
I will attempt to pick the lock before going such a drastic measure. We do not want to alert anyone as to our presence. If a guard were to check the cells and see the cut cell door, they might be alerted.
Okay.
Make a sleight of hand check.
I'm helping.
How are you helping?
Period.
I'm very familiar and accustomed to this door, and so I'm making sure she knows where the lock is.
Okay.
Okay, take a +0 conditional modifier.
As we're,
Gibbs
don't
points
like
at the lock
that
as you
look.
work on it.
as we're doing this, I'm gonna switch out my jetpack to the glamour suit.
Okay, no problem. You begin to make that change.
Yeah.
Echo?
Oh shit. You needed my help and I failed you.
Sleight of hand is Echo's
Bing.
best skill.
Yes.
Not today.
I rolled a 1.
Ooh.
So as you begin to work on this lock, your fingers, each one that is not housing a USB 5 drive, pops open, and little elements of tools and wires snake out, and you begin to work on this, and almost instantly, you repair the electronic element that kicks the electronic lock back into place, and the DC has again risen to what it once was. Is anybody else doing anything as this struggle?
While they're working on the other
Make another attempt.
cell,
The DC does go up every time you fail, and it's already kind of a high
I would
DC.
probably be trying to work within the other cell that I'm in.
Okay.
It's fully sealed, right?
Yes.
After Bubs looks up, hooks up his thing, he's gonna look up what the security guards in the prison look like,
Okay.
and he's gonna try to glamour suit copy that suit.
Make a culture check.
22.
With a 22, this time you get a little bit closer. You're able to work along this. Gibbs is like, and you kind of like move your body to keep Gibbs away from the door. And as you do, it kind of blocks your sight line from the little elements of light that you can see. That's not quite high enough, unfortunately.
23.
23.
Can I also help him disguise himself with My
So
knowledge.
this isn't really like a disguise check because you have a glamour projector. That part's pretty easy. It's really about how can you query through the infosphere in a way that you can get this information. And it's kind of hard.
I see.
There's not just like hot GPF prison guard
Hotcops.com.
calendar. Yeah. So it takes a little bit of
Family
searching.
reunion picture of all the prisons.
But over the
Prison
course of
guards.
time, as you hear Gibbs electrocute themselves and Echo unfix the door that Gibbs had kind of fixed, you take some time and look, and using some of the forums that you know that have elements, information about people that you might want to avoid as a bounty hunter, you're able to find some of these guards. And unfortunately, depending on your perspective, first of all, most GPF prison guards are drow.
Yeah.
Almost all. Every picture that you find. Secondly, to be a prison guard in the GPF, that is a reward posting.
Ooh.
You need to have proven yourself in battle already. And so the people who are guarding these prisons, generally more elite warriors. You see that they are wearing armor similar to the armor of the GPF that you've already fought. So no huge upgrade in that way.
Okay. Bubs is going to mirror match it and relay the information to the group.
Okay.
And he's going to put on his helmet.
Okay. No problem.
I shall attempt once more, and then the Inferno knife will be required.
Wait. Maybe we should just try a different door. This door is like...
It's
got
kind of
that vibe.
janky now, yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's like elements of the metal that are like warped. It looks like a case hardened door almost now. You see like the metal has shifted in color. There's golds and blues. So you crawl your way back up. Bubs, you can help if you want.
Yeah,
You guys all get the.
And I will go to the non-shade room with Echo.
Okay. So you go to the
And-
other room.
Hey, do you have another power cell?
Spice, are you doing anything during this?
Nope.
Fair enough.
Do you have another power cell?
Just
You
looking
Don't you
blankly
have
at the door
power
that's broken.
cells? They're just the ammo for
Oh.
most
Yeah.
rifles. Most
Cool.
Most energy guns.
Nice. Out of my
No
gun.
problem.
Don't have to
What was
shock
your check?
yourself.
I shocked myself again.
29.
29. So interestingly,
No!
the DC flat is 30.
Ooh.
With Gibbs's help.
Yes.
You
Oh!
can get a +2 conditional modifier. It gives you can take one more point of electric damage.
Deal.
As you can see, Echo, all of these tools, there are 9 tools extending from these fingers. They're all moving around, and you can see they've peeled away a tiny strip of metal, and there are all of these small components that you don't understand. And you can see Echo is trying to move this bit, and this bit is just a little too far. And so you're like, I don't understand any of this. And you touch the door, and the spark seems to warp the metal just a little bit closer. And Echo, you make this final connection, and the door open.
Could I have been taking 20 while that's all happening?
Yes,
to
but that's
do
only
that?
about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And so, Shade, next to you, you hear the door swing open.
All right.
You can use resolve point to heal yourself in that 10 minutes.
Yeah, don't really need it.
Okay.
I high five Echo, and I'm like, yeah, dream team. You're my favorite android now.
This is the only one that's not unpeeled.
Yeah.
Nice.
Guys,
20
so-
feet from this space is the width of the room that you enter into, and you can see there is like a small staircase that rises about 3 feet up to the upper part of this room. There is a desk that is situated there. There's like a computer terminal on there, and you can see up on the desk there is a little black, what looks almost like a half of a sphere that has been placed on, and every now and then you see at the top of it a little red light blink, just blink.
Security sensor.
Can I shut the door?
The security
Okay.
sensor.
But like prop it, like I'm not like
You take the tape that's left over, it's still a little sticky, and you just put it over the lock, and you try it a couple times, and weirdly enough, this seems to work.
Bubs is going to turn to the group.
Guys, I have an idea.
yeah.
And he's going to take out
Fancy card.
I don't think a proton snare would actually be used in the prison, would it? But I think you gave us handcuffs, actually.
Yeah, we have
in the
handcuffs.
thing. Yeah. So,
Maybe I could pretend to be a security guard, a guard of the prison, and be like I'm escorting Shade downstairs.
This is the wrong direction if you were escorting someone into the prison. And also, don't you think that they would know who's a prisoner and who's not? What if you get there and all the cells are full?
we would magically appear out of a solitary confinement cell.
They kind of blow our spot. I think we got a sneaker like we did in that office park. You guys remember that? We were
Shade,
so
are
good.
you able
Yeah.
to reach that computer terminal with your remote hacking ability?
Climb up, make my way into the.
Now there's 3 of us in this bathroom, and we're like,
You do that like through the door to
I
Shade,
think
and
it's
Shade's
reached
like,
then, yeah.
you turn, you have to climb all the way up, crawl through the vent, and then drop back down.
Did you need to come in the cell?
But no problem. Yeah, and it actually is. So it's 20 feet wide, and so you can reach out and interact with this console.
Cool.
This map is
I'm gonna do
kind
that.
of
well,
Make
it's
a
because it's
computer
purposely wrong.
check.
Yeah.
It's
I wrote 20
intentionally wrong.
feet there.
Nice.
And
That's
you guys
like,
never really asked, but like the way that they got this information, it's pretty dicey information already. A 2?
32.
30.
Oh, God.
With a 32, the
Impossible to get
exocortex
to.
kicks into action. The heat now in your system's dying down to where you can act at like a normal capacity. And as you do so, you touch the sensors here and you can open up this computer. This computer is currently asleep. It is a regular like workstation. However, this has currently been configured and attached to this little security beacon that is here, and it's a proximity sensor that senses anything that comes within 10 feet. And so if you were to pass through and go to the door, it would trigger the sensor. But with a 32, you can disable it without issue.
Cool. Is there anything else within this computer of note?
There's some games, you know. It's this
Solitaire.
is so. Think about like when we worked at the hospital. This is like a really crappy computer that they
Just for
put here.
inputting like
Yeah.
patient log.
This is like
or
this
prisoner
is,
log.
There are Word docs that are coming out of here,
Sweet.
and that probably crashes it like half the time.
Right.
Solitaire, couple of things.
Trying to upload it and it fucking deletes and you have to do it all again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Being
So
in close
nice.
proximity to Shade, can I quickly assess him for damage and also the Digger's thingy, like the digger's disease,
Yeah,
and like
make
just
a-
like
Make a life sciences check.
I'm gonna disable
medicine?
the sensor.
No problem.
And
Suddenly, for those of you watching the sensor, the little red light ding goes off once, and then never turns back on.
And then I'm gonna make my way out of this confined space and into the room that is no longer secure sensor.
22 for life sciences as he passes.
As you watch
Stealthily.
Shade like squint, and then suddenly the little alarm ding goes off, you can see Shade doesn't look like he's in terrible shape. And you don't see, I mean, he's responded to you verbally, and so you remember what it was like. You couldn't hear a thing. And so probably doesn't have Digger's illness either. So
Are you hurt though?
you make your way forward, and you can see there is a door past this room that was on the other side of the sensor, and through that there is a mesh window. Make a perception check, Shade, if you're going to peer through it.
And I'm moving cautiously and sneakily.
And this is the
Make a stealth check first, though.
Is this
That's important.
right here in the security room he went down? Or
So yeah, so you see where this,
solitary?
you see what's marked as a staircase, a little bit forward. No.
Right,
You're
this-
just,
Yeah,
right
right
there.
there. Okay.
That
I'm, like,
is not a
walking
staircase;
over
it's actually a
here.
door.
It's a
And
mesh
so
door.
their intel a little wrong there.
Yeah.
But where the staircase is the
Is
door that
the
Shade is looking
mesh
through.
Okay.
That was a dirty 20 for stealth.
Okay.
And what was the other one that I'm doing? Perception. That's a 23 for perception.
Okay. With a 23 for perception, you peer through. And you can only see the very end of this cell block, but this is certainly what it is. And because it is 9:40,
940. Holy shoot! I gotta go
the
home.
end for the evening, do you guys want a little visual perspective?
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, always.
This has been a very hard visual.
Sweating over here.
It's like it was written by a bunch of rats or something.
Well, even just like the tuning fork thing kind of got me a little bit. And usually I'm pretty good with like
Theater of the mind.
yeah, but that got me a little bit because
It's a complex.
yeah, I wasn't sure if you meant like each end of the tuning fork was 4 or each one was
Oh no, each one is 2.
yeah. Okay, that's it was like some math in my head. I was trying to
Oh wow.
I got this
divvy out.
Here it comes.
I feel like your maps keep getting bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is pretty much the standard
Okay,
We're like
size
little
these
printouts
days.
of the bed.
I know.
They're so cute. No, we like them, Joe.
I
I know you
So-
probably don't, but I like them.
No, I hate them.
So,
So
They're
you can
cute.
see, Shade, no, you're coming from the other direction.
Oh, this side?
Yes. And so right now, as you are peering through, this is like the door that you're peering through.
right here.
And you are watching as these two mechanical constructs round the corner, just as this one other GPF soldier goes the other direction.
Okay, so they're making rounds.
Yeah. And because it is 9:40, this is where we're going to end for the evening. So thank you for hanging out with us for this session of Mosaic Team 5. We'll be back next week, but if you can't wait until then, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be back for Adventures in Alberon, Courts of Everest, the 5th session. The team has just almost TPK'd.
We had a lovely walk through the forest and nothing went wrong.
It was great.
Everything was fine.
And we'll return to the Emerald Spire after that. But please stay safe. It is crazy out there. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Next week.
All right.
All right, Shade, sign us out.
Goodbye.